off.
Reverse, is it past FOMO? Yeah,
Past
like
FOMO.
that. Anyway, that's all we have time for, unfortunately.
Yes, so if you missed the show or you just want to listen to the magic again, it'll be replayed on Friday, 2 p.m. PNG time, or you can find all our episodes on the Radio Australia website or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Mutolukia.
Bye there.
Can you be more Pacific? An ABC Sport production for ABC Radio Australia.
This program has been funded by the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade.
ABC News. Good evening, I'm Susie Rains. The Ukrainian president is accusing Russia of deliberately targeting civilians in its attacks on cities, but remains steadfast on continuing to hold negotiations to end the conflict. Hannah Jose reports.
Ukraine's emergency service says a downed Russian missile hit a 16-story residential building in Kiev, killing at least one person. But Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says peace talks will continue with Russia despite its attacks against his citizens, as signs of a compromise have emerged in recent days. The US and NATO have said they will continue to send Ukraine weapons and aid, but have stopped short of ground troops or a no-fly zone, turning down President Zelensky's more urgent requests yet again. Meanwhile, the United Nations highest court has ordered Russia to immediately stop its military activities in Ukraine, but it has no military means to enforce the decision.
The Greens are pressing the federal government not to exclude Russian oligarchs with stakes in Australia's resources industry from its sanctions list. The government has not yet sanctioned Oleg Deripaska, whose company Rusal holds a 20% stake in the Queensland alumina refinery at Gladstone. It also hasn't sanctioned Victor Vekselberg, who is the largest owner of a company working with Origin Energy to frack the Beetaloo Basin in the Northern Territory. The Greens leader Adam Bandt says the emissions are striking given the men have been sanctioned in the United States and the UK.
It seems to be for Scott Morrison, it's okay to talk tough about acting on Russian oligarchs, but when it comes to those in the oil and gas industry operating here in Australia, they get a free pass.
Economists say the latest national unemployment figures are strong, but the impacts of the floods in Queensland and New South Wales are yet to be seen. The jobless rate sank to an equal record low of 4% seasonally adjusted last month. Participation is also at a record high, with 66.4% of Australians aged over 15 either in work or looking for it. Chief economist at Barrenjoey Capital Partners, Joe Masters, says the numbers are better than expected, but the floods will have an impact.
In terms of people not able to get to work, businesses that perhaps didn't bring their casual workforce in. I think the most important thing for me, though, is that the underlying fundamentals of the economy remain strong.
The chair of the Royal Commission into Defence and Veteran Suicide has raised concerns parliamentary privilege legislation could impede the Commission's work. Cecilia Connell reports.
The Commission wrapped up its third round of public hearings in Sydney this afternoon. In his closing remarks, Chair Nick Caldus flagged that the Parliamentary Privilege Act was restricting the Commission from considering documents tabled to Parliament that specifically relate to defence and veteran suicide. He stated that it diminished their capacity to meet their terms of reference and deliver the outcomes the community should rightly expect. He said the commissioners will be writing to the parliamentary officers and government to take action.
A man has died and 20 children have been injured after a bus ran off the road in Papua New Guinea's capital, Port Moresby. PNG correspondent Natalie Whiting has more.
The bus filled with school children ploughed off one of Port Moresby's main highways and down the side of a hill. The driver has died and 20 students have been taken to hospital. Staff at the Port Moresby General say the severity of the students' injuries varies, but at least one is in a critical condition. It's not clear what caused the bus to run off the road. Natalie Whiting, ABC News, Port Moresby.
In sport, Fox Sports journalist Tom Morris has been stood down after a recording of him making misogynistic comments about a female colleague were leaked online. Fox Sports says it's made the decision after an investigation into an inappropriate recording, adding it is committed to a workplace where people feel safe, respected and valued. It comes as Western Bulldogs coach Luke Beveridge has apologised to Mr Morris for his behaviour in the post-match media conference following his team's loss to Melbourne in the AFL. The Bulldogs will donate $20,000 to an organisation that specialises in youth mental health. The Australian share market lifted today after the US Federal Reserve raised interest rates and signalled more hikes to fight inflation. The ASX 200 closed up 1.05% to end on 7,250. Energy stocks slipped 0.2%, while tech stocks surged as much as 4.6%, tracking their US peers. The Australian dollar is currently trading at 73.1 US cents. To the weather, there's a strong wind warning for central Gippsland Coast and the East Gippsland Coast. For Melbourne tomorrow, a shower or two with a top of 21. ABC News.
If you're streaming the unmissable final season of Killing Eve on ABC iView, you'll now need to log in with an ABC account to watch.
When does the show start?
Log in today to add it to your watch list so you never miss an episode. And if you're binging great dramas or comedies or docos or Starstruck,
That's so cool.
you'll be able to pick up watching where you left off across your logged-in devices. Log in with your ABC account and make it yours on ABC iView.
ABC Sport.
We begin this broadcast by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this match will be played today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening.
For the red and blue true believers, they've climbed out of purgatory. For Melbourne tonight, there is a brand new flag.
After 57 years of pain, it's coming home.
The Demons are premiers.
Let's go. You don't want to miss this.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Check this out. Now we're in business. Won't believe what you're about to witness.
Hand pass to Bailey Smith. Bailey Smith, be the hero.
So much to see, so much to love.
40 out. What a superstar. That is a moment of inspiration. He loves this day. He loves this stage.
You better know it's the greatest show.
AFL. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. Superb finish. The impossible angle. Sensational goal. And that's what brings fans through the gate.
Roll up, it's time for the show. Forget everything that you know. You ain't seen nothing like this. It's impossible to resist.
Pulls the trigger on goal and goes bang.
To the right forward pocket.
Pretty damn good.
Oh, yeah.
You ain't seen nothing like
Here we go. We've got a game now. We are on.
You want your very best players having the ball in the moments that matter.
With the talk from 55. That is the cream on the cake. That is brilliant.
Grandstand AFL.
Grandstand AFL.
Straight in front, 50 out, whacks it straight through. The captain delivers in the big moment. You weren't kidding me. Oh, he's a superstar. Sets his sights on goal. Johannesson leaps into the night sky and drags in the mark. How much do you want it? How much do you need it? How much do you want this? We're gonna be kidding.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Turns and snaps. What a way to finish.
Grandstand AFL.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
It's a new era for Carlton as Michael Voss takes the reins of the old dark navy blues. Can he finally break a 10-year round one curse and open the season on a high? Richmond have enjoyed complete dominance over Carlton since 2014, recording 11 straight wins. The last time the Blues enjoyed success over the Tigers was in the 2013 elimination final. Equally intriguing, how will the Tigers respond, having missed finals for the first time since winning their first flag back in 2017? Or has the rest of the competition finally caught up to the once great Tigers? Hello, welcome back to the MCG for what would normally be the first game of the season. How strong will the people power be attending tonight? 58,000 last night for Melbourne's 27-point win over the Western Bulldogs. At the very top of the punt road stand, or the punt road end, the fans have already made their way in, so expecting somewhere around 70,000 tonight, which might end the debate as to who should open the season. Matt Clinch with you for ABC Sport. Great to have your company wherever you're listening around the country. Brett Sprigg to call the action alongside me. Spriggy, welcome.
G'day, Clinchy. Superb to be here. Huge game, as you say. Round one, Carlton, high expectations. Richmond disappointing last year. Is the dynasty over? Is it still there? Can't wait to see how it all unfolds, of course. The Tigers, they've owned this date, as you say, against the Blues in recent times. Can't wait to see how tonight plays out.
No late changes for either side. The subs, Tom Williamson for the Blues and Hugo Ralph-Smith for the Tigers. Adam Ramanauskas is back with us for another year. Rama, welcome.
Yes, thank you. And it's great to be back. Finally back at the MCG. We've taken it for granted for so long and we've lost it over the last couple of years. So to see people back into this stadium is absolutely fantastic. It'll be interesting to see what the People Power do tonight. I think it was a little bit underwhelming, the crowd last night, to be honest with you. But tonight, the Tigers and the Blues, obviously big crowd, a big supporter base, so it should be a big night. I'm interested in both teams. There's a lot of Salazar will get stuck into this a little bit later on, but the Tigers, can they bounce back? The Blues, can they finally bounce up?
There's nothing like sitting in traffic heading to a big MCG game with Mark McClure, who rode the roller coaster again tonight. Sellers, we're here on time, but we get worried every year, don't we? Welcome.
Let me tell you this. 11 in a row is enough.
You've seen enough?
I've seen enough. It's about time they busted that thing. But I can tell you, before that, there was 12 games they played prior to 2013, right? And they won 11 of the 12. Guess what? Tipped it on its head. 11 in a row they've won since then, and the Blues have been bashed. It's a new look Blues. There's a new coach involved, and there's a whole lot of things that have changed, I think, at this football club. We read about it, we talk about it. I went and watched them play a practice match against themselves, which is not great to do, but they look sharper and they look okay. But there's nothing more than a test. This is what it's about. And Richmond will be tested too. Are they on their way down? Are they on the fall? They didn't make the finals last year after playing in three grand finals and winning them in a row, not in a row, but in a period of time. And all of a sudden, how long can you go, Rama, at that top end, really pushing yourself? It happened to you blokes, it's happened to us, it's happened to everyone, it'll happen to them too. And the Blues are on the up, slightly on the up, I would think. You'd hope that'd be the case. They've been down for 20 years, so an interesting day. And there's a lot of things to talk about and a lot of players to talk about. Are they good enough now? Yeah. Are they strong enough? Are they brutal enough? But I can assure you, the Blues have been trained extremely hard, and there won't be a lack of fitness that'll stop them winning this game.
So they've added Adam Chera, they've added George Hewitt, Charlie Curnow's playing tonight, as is Harry Mackay. Yeah. So all the hype and anticipation around Carlton for a new coach, a first-year coach, be it his second stint. There's a lot of expectation on Michael Voss's shoulders.
And I think if we break that down one by one, Chera and Hewitt going into the midfield adds the depth. Sam Walsh not there tonight. That's okay. He'll be back soon. So, but we'll see if that added numbers takes some pressure away from Walsh, takes some pressure away from Paddy Cripps, and allows others to get involved. The Curnow-Mackay combination has got to be critical. Those two guys, they're young, they're vibrant, they're athletic, they can kick goals. But can they kick goals together? Harry Mackay was able to kick goals by himself last year. Curnow came back late in the season and still looked like he had that athleticism. We're all concerned about that coming off a knee injury. Now he's had a full summer. What can they do together? And I think that will probably, in the end, determine how far Carlton go this year. Mackay was really their one avenue to goal last year. Now they've got a couple more. But what I'm most interested in watching Carlton through a pre-season and a couple of games they played, defensively now they look more rounded, they look more solid. They can now defend for longer periods of time, and that becomes critical. When Liam Jones decided that he didn't want to play no longer, we were all scratching our head wondering, well, how's this going to look, Sellers? But looking at them in their couple of practice matches, they look very well organised in that defensive side of the game now.
They look like they're enjoying themselves, which is the most important thing you can do. You understand what you're supposed to do and you do it well, and you continue to do it. And it's about the basics. Do those very, very well. My big watch is on Doherty. Sam Doherty's come back from a testicular cancer type situation. It's a horrible thing, and there's no more prouder people than the Carlton people about this guy. The other one I'm looking at is Mitch McGovern. He goes down back. Now he's an intercept marker and he does all that thing. He'll be tested tonight by the Tigers. They're not an ordinary bunch of players in that area, and I'd like to see whether or not he can stand up to the rigours of that position, because that is not easy. No.
Just on Doherty, Raymond, you've got the unique insight, having gone through a similar lived experience yourself, coming back from cancer multiple times to play footy. How difficult, how challenging is that going to be for him?
First and foremost, I want to say congratulations to Sam for getting back and playing and having an understanding of what he has gone through. He's gone to hell and back to get it back into this position to play football. It is extremely difficult. What poison's gone into his body to help him recover to get back to this stage takes a lot of energy out of him. But in saying that, he's done the work. He came back through the reserves, had 40 possessions in a game there, but now, again, it's another step up for him. He's got to monitor how he's feeling constantly, because it is going to take a lot of energy out of him, particularly these first couple of weeks. But I've just got my fingers crossed that he does well and he's healthy for the rest of his life.
So the Tigers have made their way out onto the MCG. The Blues are about to break through the banner in front of a large Carlton fan base here at the MCG, who are coming along hopeful that they might see an opening round win. What about the Tigers? Where do you see them this season? How realistic do you think it could be with 6 or 7 guys in tonight's lineup over the age of 30 that they've still got one more crack at it in them?
Well, they're actually, when you look at them, they've been up since 2017. Okay, that's 5 years at the top end of this market. And it's difficult because everyone comes up against the Premier and wants to bash them and push them and shove them and try them out. We all know how they play. Have they changed their style? I wouldn't have thought so, because it's been so successful. And they have almost a similar type of players from that moment where they started till now. There's not too many changes in their team. I know Tarrant comes in as a fullback from North Melbourne, and he'll be handy and he'll help. But you know what? It's the same thing, and everyone knows how they play. It's about how you stop it and how you do those. And you know what? Last year, people stopped it. Gold Coast beat them, if you remember, at middle of the year at Etihad Stadium. So, to me, I think, are they on the fall? Oh, are they desperate? Or they got the young kids to come in? They've got one young boy who comes in today. Gipkis, yes. Thank you very much. 6'5", a big size fella and all that sort of stuff. They've got plenty of tools in this team. Their midfield's ageing, starting to get a bit older. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make the 8 again, to tell you the truth.
I think the fear of 30 is fading, but if you've got the right ones. Now, Clinchy, you mentioned they've got 6 over 30 out there tonight, but they're still playing at a high standard.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's the critical part of this. You look at Geelong over recent years, too old. They've been able to still play in grand finals and prelim finals. Okay, they haven't won one, and I get we're in the business of winning premierships here, but they've still been highly competitive.
Oh, sure.
I think people looking at Richmond on last year, they had so many injuries.
Yeah,
they just had so many injuries. Now with these players, particularly if you look at Dustin Martin wasn't there in the back end of the season. He's had a full summer. Prestia is a really important cog in that midfield. He's had a full summer. Nan Curvis has had a full summer, becomes captain of the team. So Edwards, who's a critical player, missed large parts of last season. Those guys coming back into the side, but coming back into the side fit. When they've came back into the side previously, they've been underdone because of injury. So I'm expecting them still to compete very much at the top end of the ladder. But their style of game is changing. And I think that's where the difference lies to me. They've always been happy to play a smaller brand of football. But bringing in Gipkis, bringing in Tarrant,
Tools.
having Bolter there.
Soldo.
Soldo comes back in. Their style of play may change a little bit. It might not be like the Richmond that we're so used to seeing over previous years.
But they're not a mark and kick and mark
But
team.
at that height, they may need to change that style slightly, Sellers.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Lynch, Revolt, Bolter, whether that
big,
kind of
isn't it?
works, Avant Soldo pushing forward.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions around Richmond, not to mention whether Dustin Martin can be one of the best players in the competition still once more.
Well, I think we've got to assume he will be, because he always has been. Any time that he's played football, he's been one of the best players. Now, he had a severe injury last year, when he missed the remainder of the season. How he's bounced back and all the word coming out of Richmond is that he's been fantastic. He had a family tragedy also over the break, so I know that would have rocked him as well. But I expect Dustin Martin to be Dustin Martin. Just go and play however he wants to play. And if it's not working in the midfield for him, he'll go forward. If he's not working forward for him, he goes back in the midfield.
Let me tell you, you start to get worn out in this game after 30. You do, it actually gets you. And then you get injured. And they did have a lot of injuries. Who's to say they're not going to have them again?
There's plenty of teams
but everyone's in the same boat.
Take a player like Dusty Martin, even he's not quite 100%, so can't wait to see how that unfolds. The other big news story of the day was that Luke Beveridge has come out and publicly apologised following his post-match press conference. We'll play you some of that at half-time. So Luke Beveridge making a statement late tonight through the Western Bulldogs webpage. So the teams are out going through their final preparations. Tom Koning out there in the middle of the ground, so how he goes alongside Mark Pitnet. And Patrick Cripps as well. I mean, you feel like going back to sort of 2019, one of the best players in the comp. Can he be the inspirational captain with maybe a little bit less midfield time and reliance on his shoulders?
But again, Cripps is fit.
He's lost a lot of weight.
That's right. He's fit. Over previous years, you can see the workload that he's had to endure through a season, and then he's had interrupted pre-seasons because of that. But this pre-season, you spoke about it earlier, they've trained hard, the Blues.
They have, and what they've done is they've amassed a reasonable midfield, and that's the key to this game. If you've got a hell of a lot of blokes in the midfield who can rotate through, and you've got Kennedy, and you've got Chera, and you've got O'Brien, and you've got Jack Martin, and you've got Cripps, and you've got Hewitt, and there's a few others around the place. Fisher can go through, Centrefield goes through, Newman can go through that area. You need to have that many to rotate through, because the power running in that area is massive, and they didn't have that in the past.
There's a couple that I've got my real eye on for Carlton. Sard, what he does and how he performs. Obviously, a high-price recruit for them. Williams, what type of fitness level has he done a full pre-season? Because again, they gave up a lot to get Zach Williams. Is he just going to play on a half-back flank? McGovern, you've touched on. Can he finally deliver?
Well, it's easier to play in the back half than it is in the forward.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that, and anyone who wants to dispute it, they'll be wrong, because that's the way it is. He has to follow someone else. He doesn't have to think about things, and his job is to punch away and intercept mark.
That's right.
And that's it.
And at Adelaide, when he played that role, he looked really comfortable.
Yeah, well, he played up forward most of the time. I didn't see him play down back so much. But, but let me tell you, this is a good test for him. I want to see you. They've got the best bunch. You've got Jack Rewald, you've got Lynch, you've got Soldo, you've got a few others that'll go down in that area. You know, I mean, so to me, it's interesting to see what he's going to do and whether he can carry it out.
There's a couple more at Carlton. Matt Kennedy.
Yep.
He had a really good pre-season, looked really good. Can he get to that above average level? Lockie O'Brien on a wing. Can he start to deliver on being a top 10 draft pick? Jack Martin. Again, you give up a lot for Jack Martin. Can he start to become that elite player that we believe he can be? And the other one, the other two are Zach Fisher and Will Setterfield. Well, that's why you still look at Carlton and you go, I've still got question marks in my head. If those guys there can elevate their game, that's what take Carlton into a final series. Not Paddy Cripps, not Sam Walsh, we know what we're getting out of those guys. It's those guys that are just underneath. Can they raise their game up?
So what you're saying is that the individuals now, which really has carried the side so far, shouldn't be that way, because it should be a team game.
That's right, absolutely.
And I think that's exactly what they're looking for.
But there's no more excuses for those guys, because they're at an age now where they're hardened their bodies through a number of pre-seasons. It's time to perform week in, week out.
I'll be fascinated to see what the forward pressure's like. That's never been a feature of Carlton's game. So what will Michael Voss bring from Port Adelaide and try and implement it at the Blues? The Tigers have co-captains for the first time in their club's history. Toby Nankervis is going to take the reins alongside Dylan Grimes. So
hasn't he got COVID?
He is right to go. Was able to pass fit to take place in round one. So that's the good news for Richmond fans. Trent Cotchin, who's served the club so well for the last 9 years, as to how he'll perform with a little bit less pressure on his shoulders.
The number one captain's clearly Dylan Grimes, because he's going to toss the coin. But look, it's a great honour to be captain of any football club, and those two boys, Dylan Grimes and Toby Nankervis, both deserving of it. So you wish them all the best, but you do congratulate Trent Cotchin for what he's been able to achieve as captain of the Richmond Footy Club.
As always, we'd love to hear from you on Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital. 0437 774 774. Let us know where you're listening from, and if you've got a question for Sellers or Rammer, or an observation if you're trying to make your way in from the MCG. As always, we'd love to hear from you. The final member of our team sitting in the front row of the Grandstand, Mitch Cleary's back for another season. Great to have one of the AFL newsbreakers with us again. Mitch, welcome. Great to have you a part of Thursday Night Footy.
Thanks for having me part of it, guys. Dylan Grimes lost his first toss as captain. Patrick Cripps won it and will choose to kick to the punt road end. I've never seen anything like this at the MCG. Richmond were actually booed by the Carlton faithful as they entered the ground and ran towards the punt road end for their warm-up. Just the final teams, no late changes. Tom Williamson, the sub for the Blues. Hugo Rollsmith, the sub for the Tigers.
Thanks, Mitch. Mitch Cleary down the boundary for us tonight. So the crowd all the way back at the punt road end at the very top of the stands. Can't see too much above us in the members, but there's still a bit of space at the top of the city end. So whether we'll be able to get sort of 80,000 or maybe high 60s.
I'm not certain about that.
Geez, that's a big gap.
That's
high 60s or 80.
No.
Come on.
70s.
Come on, go. Give me some real numbers.
Give you some real numbers. I reckon it's going to be right on 60.
Okay, thank you. So that's a long way from 80.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. No, can't. I was trying to build it up that maybe it could be 80, but you pinned me down on a rammer. Exactly. I think it's no chance.
Well, it's nice to have a crowd anyway for a start, and that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
To see the colour, to see the Richmond colour. I don't like Carlton's colours too much, but anyway, that's a story for another day.
I don't think anyone cares, Ramon.
And haven't we missed that? The fans as a part of our game. Thursday night footy. Can Carlton finally break through and get the Richmond curse and open round one with a victory? And the Tigers trying to continue on their merry way and bounce back to September action on Grandstand AFL to get us underway. Here's Brett Sprigg.
I wonder how many people there are. The MCG will be rocking. Great expectations for Michael Voss's Carlton. And that's the Tigers, as you said, Clinchy. Here's Richmond's dynasty over. And Kovis and Pitnet in the middle. A loud roaring going to start it. There's the bounce as well. A near perfect one. Pitnet goes up, wins it down. Cochin overruns the football. Preston mops it up though. Hand pass off to Martin. First clearance goes the way of the Tigers. Up towards half forward. Mark juggled down there in the forward line. Can't complete it down there. Baker. At the back is Williams for the Blues. Floats a hand pass forward. Martin went into the back of Hewitt. That'll be definitely a free kick Carlton's way. And George Hewitt's first action as a Carlton player. A free kick from right half back.
As he looks to send it out to the great southern stand wing. Set a bit of a challenge for Chera. One of the other new Blues couldn't quite take the ball cleanly and now tries to fight for it at ground level. Setterfield went in. Martin got down low. Couldn't dispose of the footy. Now Prestia eventually gets a kick towards half forward for the Tigers. Revolt tried to use his body well to protect the space. Then back tapped it towards the boundary line. Gathered by Oscar McDonald. His kick is too wide. And Setterfield marks on his chest but over the boundary line. Dustin Martin will take the free kick on the Great Southern stand side between wing and half forward.
He plays on quickly, spears the kick inside forward 50, tries to find the lead down there of Revolt. Can't get there. Hewitt mops up here for the Blues. Hand pass off to Setterfield. Standing start here for Cripps. Gets it away. The Blues can clear off half back on the half volley. Collected by Durden. Chera running by on the wing. On the outer side now. Floats the hand pass back inboard now for Cripps. Gets a hand pass away just. Dicey effort this time here. Cripps spins away the tackle. Great work on the outer logo. Away from Dan Curvis. Low flat ball inside forward 50. Almost picked up in defence by the Tigers. It'll bounce back here for Carlton. Owies trying to contend that football now. It's still inside forward 50. O'Brien gets there now first. A navy blue jumper. Floats the hand pass forward. Sits up on the bounce for Fisher. Awkward ball. Couldn't quite get there in the end. Mopped up in defence by the Tigers and Bolter clears out toward the pocket. Picked up now by Pickett. Still inside defensive 50. Comes back numbers side for Bolton.
Had plenty of time to sum up the options. Short to Shai Bolton and now the 1-2 with Grimes. Bolton away on the members wing. Kicks up to Tom Lynch who marks. Between wing and half forward. Now Soldo's pushing deep. He's not all that intent on moving it quickly. Revolt is deeper than that as well. Sends it in the Revolt direction. McDonald set himself in front. Had the arms chopped and he'll take the free kick.
Bolter was too far back. Pushed himself right back into the square. They couldn't kick it that far.
25 metres out from his defensive goal at the city end. Switches play to the right back pocket. And Setterfield takes it for the Blues.
Oh, untidy ball. Works out just okay for Durden. Marks in the corridor at centre half back. Still no score in the opening 2.5 minutes here at the MCG. Thursday night footy. And Carlton bring it wide towards the wing and it's marked by Charlie Curnow. Returned from a year and a half of knee injuries late last year.
Has some talent, this kid.
Up along the outer side now. Getting a shove in there. Mackay wins the free kick as Tarrant was into the back of him. So we'll come back here for the Mackay free kick. Just forward of the wing. Still 75 from goal. Attacking thrust here for Carlton. Up inside forward 50. And De Koning well easy. Grimes was late coming in. De Koning Watched that ball coming in, took it in front of his face. He's 25 out, deep in the right forward pocket.
Yeah, this is the beauty of this kid. He's got enormous athleticism, so he can comfortably play as a key forward. He can comfortably play in the ruck. The Blues are going to enjoy this young man for many years. They've just got the beautiful sit, the beautiful run and jump at the ball.
The angle tougher than 45 degrees. De Koning misses near side to the right. It's the first score of the evening. Carlton one behind. Richmond yet to score through 3 minutes here at the MCG.
As the Tigers bring the ball back into play, Broad receives it from short. They have it now at right half back. To Pickett, who looks to work it over the head of Dustin Martin. Couldn't quite run onto it. McGovern gathers for the Blues. Hand pass to Chera through traffic. Works it to Fisher and now to Williams. Onto the right boot. Kick smothered by Short. Tigers take it back through Martin. Veers backwards and chips it back to Rioli. He has it at right half back for the Tigers. Carlton leading by a point. Hand pass to Broad. Through the corridor he goes, looking for Soldo. The kick was wide of him. May still work out. Baker onto it. Back to Soldo. The big man links it up to Bolton. Inside the 50. A burst of pace. And he finishes. As soon as Richmond were on the break, they were able to bring it right through the middle of the ground. And Shea Bolton was able to finish, and the Tigers have the opening goal of the night. On Thursday night footy, they're 1 straight 6 to Carlton are behind through 4 minutes in the opening term.
Well, when that ball got back into the middle of the ground with Baker, he had plenty of options. He didn't have an opponent really anywhere near him, so he could have kicked. He could have kicked inside forward 50. He decided to handball to Soldo, which then was over to Bolton. That was a little bit too easy there, really, for the Tigers to kick that goal. The Blues lost themselves defensively.
They did.
Which I spoke about before the game. They looked very solid, but their first chance where Richmond had to score, they lost themselves defensively there.
A super smother on the boundary line started that goal, and it just finished it off there with Shea Bolton.
Down to Mitch Cleary shortly. Restart back in the middle. Pitton out reaching for it now. Free kick for a hold. That will go the way of the Tigers. It was Prestia infringed upon first. All that traffic. Still in the early evening, setting sun at the MCG. The Tigers with the first goal. 1-6 to 1 behind. Short kick finds Martin.
Controlling the ball well, the Tigers. That's what they're good at.
Dustin Martin plays on, wheels around inside forward 50. They converge up in the forward line now for the Tigers. Overrun by Cripps, bursting through here. Hand pass away, Castagna. Little work from Edwards, kicking close. Baker juggled it, couldn't complete the mark. Slides in now. Quick hand pass, Cochin. Hurried kick straight to Williams. Carlton can rebound here. It's a dicey looking kick up the corridor. It might work out okay for Jack Martin. No, picked off by Dustin, his namesake. Now Durden for the Blues wins it back. Jack Martin can rebound the footy here. Got some run. No one's back inside forward 50. It's a race on foot. Owies competes with Grimes. Owies attempts the soccer overruns the football. Grimes did well. Wins it away here. The Richmond coast skipper spreads it to the outer wing, and Richmond are away.
Prestia looks up towards Baker on the Great Southern stand wing. 1-on-1 with McGovern. Couldn't take the mark, but first onto it. Loops the hand pass over the top. Asking a bit of Ross. Setterfield laid the tackle. Got the hand pass away to Edwards. Back to Prestia. It kept running. Kicks inside the 50. Soldo out on the lead. But Sam Doherty slides in. Takes the mark on his chest. And listen to this. Welcome back, Doc, as the Carlton fans show their appreciation of this remarkable recovery.
I don't like the idea of Carlton allowing Dustin Martin to run around in the midfield on his own. He's already up to 5 possessions. We've only been playing 7 minutes. Someone needs to be responsible for him through the middle of the ground.
Carlton looked to switch it out to right half back and now move it back to the left back pocket, where Oscar McDonald kicks a long kick up to the members' wing. Jack Martin marks on his chest, with the Tigers leading by 5 points.
7.5 played. You can come inboard now. For the Blues, coming up the line, Mackay. Received it from Hewitt. Enough separation here. He's on the wing, though, a long way from home. Mackay. Good kick in, travels back inboard. Almost a little too hot that time for Cripps. Out the back, in fact, it is there for Prestia. Hand pass away now. Can release Rioli. A second bounce on the members' wing. Stops here, looks at the options. Flat kick inside forward 50. Good vision for Castagna, who tumbles to his right and completes the mark. 35 out, slightly right of centre.
Tell you what, the hard running by the Tigers has been so special everywhere. You watch them run. They run in 1s and 2s and 3s all together and gives you many options to kick to. All of a sudden, Castagna's in front, 20 metres out from goal, and easy shot at goal.
It's just the one game last year, Jason Castagna. He signed a contract extension last year as well. On the approach here from just inside 50 to the city end to make it back-to-back early opening goals for the Tigers. Stania with a couple of steps away to the left. It's a minor score. 1-1-7 Richmond. The Blues one behind. Mitch Cleary on the boundary.
An early injury concern for Richmond. Jack Rewalt down in the rooms with the medicos. The medico, Greg Hickey, just came up the bench, pointed to his wrist. So we'll keep you posted on Jack Rewalt.
Thanks, Mitch. McGovern into Sard, short to Cripps, and then a block on Sard as he was trying to get around the back for a hand pass. So Patrick Cripps will be taken from left half back to half forward. No one's on the mark. If he's awake to this, he can keep running. No, he doesn't. Turns out he did get good support with Graham taking the mark. He's turned it straight over. Trying to go cutely with a kick inside the 50, and Arts takes the intercepting mark for the Tigers.
It's coming back.
Likewise, poor kick. He kicks it straight to McGovern, who marks in the middle of the MCG.
Mitch McGovern spots the target with the corridor. Hewitt then busy early. Hand pass off to Doherty. Floats a hand pass inside forward 50. Kennedy turns 45 from goal. It's dropped there right on the last line of defence by Bolter. Picked up now by Curnow of the Blues. Going in hard. Spun around the tackle. Getting it away. Kick now from Rioli goes up in the air. In fact, the Blues have got it away through Kennedy. And Matt Kennedy on the loose footy. Got a nice little assist from Jack Silvani in the tackle. And Kennedy kicks the Blues first. They're 1-1-7. Richmond also 1-1-7. For the opening 9.5 minutes on Grandstand AFL.
That was all about ball movement, just moving as quick as you possibly can. There was mistakes on every little situation there, but when the outnumber comes and Kennedy comes in at the end of it and picks up another a thing that's spilled off the ground, picks it up and kicks it there. But that's because they had more numbers around the ball and the Tigers couldn't get enough people back to stop them. They moved it quickly. Yeah, they made mistakes. Yeah, but all of a sudden you get a goal out of it.
Mark McClure with you on ABC Sport tonight. Thursday night footy, a goal apiece here at the MCG. Matthew Kennedy, one of the players Rama mentioned in the pre-game, who Carlton fans will hope can have a consistent impact this season. A 6-6-6 warning here taking place against the Tigers. Umpire to toss it up in the middle of the ground. Pitnet against Soldo. Ball came down the way of Kennedy. Gets the clearance. Here's Chera breaking clear. Gets to 50. The new recruit got underneath it. It flares out to the right from right on 50. And it's out of bounds on the full. Scores level 1-1-7 apiece. Mitch Cleary on the boundary.
Jack Rewalt back up from the rooms with his right wrist, fresh taping on it. Looks like he'll be good to go. Front row of the bench alongside Dustin Martin.
He's got to be better than that, Chera.
Yep.
Had time, had space, steadied himself. He missed the goal from by a long way. It was probably 10 metres from the goal out on the full.
Grimes drives it long beyond defensive 50. Sherratt tackled, dispossessed. Great work by Graham. Hand pass back to Nankervis. A hot footy now. Allowed to bounce here for Cochin. Sweeps the hand pass away. They can rebound through short. Coming out toward the members' side.
Soldo's run.
Yeah.
And Pickett marks for the Tigers. Soldo in position here against Doherty. Doherty flies up here. Misses the footy. Tigers recover it now. Hand pass comes out wide for Edwards. 65 from goal. Goes inside the arc and presenting well Baker. Marks in the right forward pocket, no more than 20 metres out.
So you just look at the little changes already from both teams. Soldo playing predominantly as a key forward. Baker, we're so used to seeing him play as a defender. He's now playing as a smaller type forward. In this case, takes a pretty simple mark inside forward 50.
Won a 4 to play every game last year. He opens up the angle, Liam Baker, and has Richmond's second. 2-1-13. So Carlton's 1-1-7 through the opening 12 minutes in the first term on Grandstand AFL.
And I think another little change for the Tigers is their run. Sellers mentioned it a couple of times. They look like to be getting across the ground a lot quicker and a lot easier than Carlton at the moment. You see a number of guys just on those big long angle runs trying to create space behind them inside Richmond's forward 50 at the moment.
It's looks just like not in ones, it's in twos and threes.
Yeah, so that's really evident at the moment. You look at inside 50s to start this game, it's 9-7 in Richmond's favour, but going inside their forward 50, Richmond look a lot more organised just to start this game.
Disposals at 48 apiece through the opening 12 minutes. The Tigers leading by a goal. Thrown up, a bounce back in the middle. Soldo one down the tap for the Tigers. Got it to Dustin Martin. Kicks off around the corner. Over Pitnet. Kicks. Pickett, huge fly. Got right on the shoulders of O'Brien but couldn't hang on to it. O'Brien tries to fight back for it. Doherty's head off for support. Newman got a hand pass clear. Carlton free kick for too high, and O'Brien He's kicked it too wide for Jack Martin, and it rolls across the boundary line for a throw-in. Oh, that was a good fly from Marlon Pickett. Just couldn't hang on.
Tigers by a goal. 13 and a half gone. Great to have your company on Grandstand AFL as always. Crowd still continues to file in here. Just filling up the MCG. Out the back, Cripps. Allowed it here for Kennedy. Received a hand pass now, Cripps. Carlton co-captain sprays a kick. It's going well wide here and lands down there. It's laid off by Ross. Turioli running by. Attacking thrust forward of halfway here is Revolt, despite the early injury concern, as Mitch Cleary told us about. Going inside forward 50 now, and Bolton presents in the contest. He beat McDonald and takes a chest mark 40 out, slightly left of centre.
He's super player, Shea Bolton, but McDonald can't allow him to outmark him in the air like that. McDonald's 6'3", 6'4". Bolton's 5'10" at best.
That's a huge leap.
He's got to spoil that, but he's right in the contest.
I know that.
He's got to spoil that.
45-degree angle to the left-hand side, Shea Bolton. He kicked the first goal of the evening. Fourth in the BNF last year. Of course, he was winner of Mark of the Year as well. That wasn't a bad one, a short time ago. He'll kick from 45. Shea Bolton to the city end, lays into it, and it's across the face for a minus score. Richmond 2-2-14, Carlton 1-1-7. We've played 14 and a half minutes on Grandstand AFL.
Sam Doherty gathers the footy and looks to bring the Blues back into play from the city end. Looks out to the southern side where Charlie Curno's there. Sends it long in that direction. And Jack Silvani. Silvani competes in front. Cripps front and centre. Hand pass back to Silvani. Off balance as he gets a high kick up for the wing. Good chance for Kennedy. Dropped the mark in the end. Uncontested. Pressia tries to fend off. Got a hand pass to Revolt. Just got a kick away as he's tackled by Charlie Curnow. The Tigers have the numbers though. Gathered at half back by Baker. Kicks across the half back line to Pickett. He's able to run onto it around O'Brien. Sends a long ball towards Castagna. Back paddling. Good mark. 1-on-1 with Newman. He's able to pull in the mark between wing and half forward for the Tigers.
They want 50 as well, the Tigers faithful. They won't get it. He's sort of halfway, Castagna. Short kick inboard for Edwards. Approaching 300 games this year. Is it 282 tonight? What a contributor he's been to this side throughout this run of three flags. High ball inside forward 50 into the 2-on-1. Doherty up in front there in defence for the Blues. Spins away from the Revolt tackle. Hand pass for McGovern. They can rebound here, Carlton, and Mackay spills the mark at the drop. It's picked off here. It comes away from Tarrant. Under pressure here again. The Tigers mopped up a second time by Tarrant. Up against the boundary line. Grimes. Hurried out of it by O'Brien. Still alive though. Hand pass comes from Broad. Back to Tarrant under pressure. Great work it was from Chera. On the loose footy, McGovern. Back to Chera. Standing still. Hand pass away in time for O'Brien. They can start again. Carlton from half back.
Kicks towards Charlie Curnow. Lost his footing against Bolter. Bolter knocks it down towards Prestia. He runs out of room as he's tackled by Silvani over the boundary line for a throw-in. Not far from where Mitch Cleary's watching on.
Well, you've been discussing the crowd. They're still filing in, as Spriggy mentioned. I reckon we're closer to 75, 80. They're really filling in at the top of the Great Southern Stand now. 26 degrees as we speak.
Stuart Fox from the MCC issued an apology from some of the challenges on Wednesday night from fans trying to get in and access to food. So good to see a lot of the crowd making their way in. Chera tried to break clear. Martin fell on his back, trying to lay the tackle. And Adam Chera will have it just short of left half forward. Still 2 kicks out from goal. Martin offers a lead to the pocket. That's ignored. Sends it long in the Curnow and Mackay direction. Richmond have the tall timbers there as well. A chance for Arts. Couldn't take it cleanly. Now becomes the tackler. He and Broad lock the footy in, and Carlton will be happy to have it 20 metres out from goal at the punt road end. Richmond by 7 points. We played 17 minutes in the opening term on Grandstand AFL.
The Blues are deep in attack with the forward 50 stoppage. Soldo, fresh air shot on hands and knees. Kennedy collects it here off to the Koning, snaps across his body hurriedly, and it's away to the left-hand side for a minor score. So 1-2-8 the Blues. Richmond 2-2-14. 17 and a half played in the opening term.
Jaden Short wastes no time playing on, has a couple of bounces as he works his way outside the defensive 50. Hand pass put Gibskus under pressure, but did really well. Got the hand pass to Ross, and away Richmond go around the Great Southern Stand side. Kicks towards Bolton, trying to backpedal against Newman. Keep it alive close to the boundary. The reinforcements arrive for Carlton. Oscar McDonald got it to Doherty. Great kick to Charlie Curnow. Dropped the mark though. Bolter competes with him. The two scrap at ground level. Curnow might have grabbed him when he wasn't in possession. And a good win for Noah Bolton in that wrestle of strength in the end on the Great Southern Stand wing.
Charlie's dropped about 2 or 3 at this stage.
But he's moving well.
I know that, and I like that.
Yeah.
But you just got to grab them. That's an easy one.
Bolter pumps it long, outnumbered down there. The Tigers in attack. It might go okay for Lynch, though. Gets to the footy, off to Baker. Lightning quick speed, just dribbles it towards goal. It hits the behind post on the bounce, so we'll throw it back in. Deep in attack for Richmond at the city end. 2-2-14. They lead Carlton 1-8. Approaching time on here in the opening quarter.
The Blues' harassment's been pretty good. Kept them off the ball. It's been hard for them to move the ball down the ground nowadays. So that's good.
Thrown back in. Bolton tries to grab it to the back.
Not that
Shakes
one.
the tackle. Gets clear and fires through his second. How impressive is Shea Bolton in tight confinement. He found a way out where there didn't appear to be one. And Richmond open up a 12-point advantage. Time on in the opening term.
You can't let Shea Bolton on his own.
Well, you've got to stick the tackle.
You've got to stick a tackle.
Yeah.
I understand that. But there was too much space. He moved around too quickly. He's a very clever player, and we all understand that. But who's his man? Who you got? You got to stand in front of him. You got to push him. You got to shove him. You can't just let him get easy ball, because you got to harass him at any time. And if they give you a free kick against you, bad luck. But I think you've got to do that a lot more with Shea Bolton, because he's dangerous.
They're the ones that hurt.
It was Adam Chera with the tackle. He
just
couldn't
missed
stick it.
Yeah, and that's, you got to hold on. Got to hold on there. Paddy Cripps came over sort of to try help out in the tackle. He's a slippery player, Shea Bolton. There's no doubt about that. But Chera's bigger and stronger. Just stick the tackle.
Yeah, but you can't let him have a run at the go.
They extend the lead. Richmond 12 points. Back in the middle. Nankervis, hand pass. Graham tackled by Cripps, dispossessed. In fact, it was held without it. Free kick going the way of Jack Graham and Richmond.
I'll give the handball.
Last year's runner-up, Jack
That's
Graham.
too easy.
Hand pass off to Jaden Short. 60 from goal. Sends a high ball deep towards the square. Getting some separation. Lynch in the contest with McDonald.
Short.
Just to the right of the goal square, only 10 metres out.
And I'm just watching Jaden Short here. Who's going to go and stand next to him? Because as Sellers said, that's far too easy to get a handball received basically in the middle of the MCG with no opponent.
And Jaden Short kicks it a mile.
Oh, he does.
Tom Lynch has the boundary line a couple of metres to his right. Goes the check side, the set shot. And he's off to the far side, the left-hand side for a minor score. 3-3-21 Richmond. Carlton 1-8. We've just hit time on in the opening quarter.
We all know that Shea Bolton's the one who... Not Shea Bolton. Short is the one that runs from half-back and moves the ball into the forward line. But no one goes near him.
Newman played on quickly for the Blues. Was looking for Pitnet, the intercepting mark taken by Pickett in front. And the Tigers have it back. They have dominated terms in this opening quarter. Comes inboard with a kick to Cochin, who will set Richmond into attack. Nankervis is there at the back. Lynch plucks it behind Big Nank. And Tom Lynch will get a second shot at this time, more directly in front than he was before.
Yeah.
Oscar McDonald found himself trailing behind, and Tom Lynch was able to claim it behind Nankervis in the ideal position.
But it's no different to the stoppage with Shea Bolton. You've got to have a body on your opponent. The ball's coming in long and high. It's set up for the big guys. Tom Lynch had an easy run at the ball there.
And Newman was the problem there. He was the closest to him, and he could have blocked that run.
Tom Lynch comes in, and this time he's able to steer it through. 3 on the trot now for the Tigers as they open up a 19-point advantage. 4-3-27 to the Blues, 1-2-8. 22 minutes gone, opening term on Grandstand AFL.
And you look at this game, you know, we've still got a couple of minutes to quarter time, but it's played on Richmond's terms at the moment. It feels like the momentum is all going Richmond's way. Carlton are really wrestling against the game at the moment. They're just, they can't get any flow. They can't win any possession. They can't control tempo.
They can't control their run.
Nah. Whereas Richmond they look lively. They look dangerous. Their forwards look very dangerous. Their midfield at the moment is having their way with Carlton's midfield. So
16-8.
Danger signs early here for the Blues.
16-8 inside 50s.
Yeah.
Big difference.
It was 7-9 a couple of minutes ago.
And back at the restart, a wonky bounce. Time from umpire Hayden Gavine. He's out there along with Brett Roseberry and Nathan Williamson, our officials tonight. Ivan Soldo back in the ruck against Mark Pitnet. Ball up. Pitnet waits for it. Clean tap. Down to Hewitt through traffic. Hand pass back to Chera. Works out okay for Doherty. Looks for options again. A bit of space. Pitnet spilled it. It was easy. Taken away by Cochin. Tigers back on the overlap again. Underground handball for Prestia. It was a little too hot for Soldo. On the wing, waiting for it. Revolt dumped in a big tackle this time from McGovern. Ball jars free. In fact, the umpire says let's ball it up on the outer logo, southern side. It's the Tigers 4-3. Carlton 1-2. 23.5 played in the opening term.
From the throw up, Cripps was able to shark it. Kicks towards half forward. Broad the loose, came charging in. Dropped the mark off his chest. Carlton tried to sweat on it. Durden gathers. He's tackled immediately and was taken high by Rioli. So the Blues will have it out right half forward.
No movement up forward at all. No one's moving forward. No one's moving sideways.
Hand pass to Doherty. Good pass, Silvani. I think the intended target was Harry Mackay, but Silvani was able to race in from the right and take the mark. Hard against the boundary in the right forward pocket.
Either way, it's a good kick from Doherty. It was going to the right target if it was Mackay. But Silvani good enough just to read it. Yeah, just take his time. Take the 30 seconds. Take some heat out of the game here.
He's become the ultimate swingman. Jack Silvani can play a forward, a back in the ruck. Can he strike here from just inside 50? It's slightly across the face and it hits the left goalpost. Just couldn't quite work it back. So the Blues have struggled to take their opportunities. They're 1-3-9 to the Tigers 4-3-27. Richmond by 18.
Jaden Short plays on the kick out here. It's coming to Pickett. Still inside defensive 50 punt road end. Tigers by 18 points. Pickett plays on. Thumps it long toward the members' wing. Again, they converge. Lynch at the drop. Beaten to it this time by McDonald. There first for the Tigers, Prestia. Tumbles a kick up the line. It misses Doherty. Unkind bounce for him. Soldo coming the other way. Taps it out here for Dustin Martin. Dangerous here. He beats O'Brien. Slaps it back here as well. Still alive for, beg your pardon, Arts, who's dumped in a tackle. Ball again on the deck. And the umpire spotted the free kick for a high tackle going Richmond's way. And it will, in fact, go the way of Jake Arts, who was either taken high or held without the football. Either way, it's the same result. A Richmond free kick from directly in front, 45 out. What do you reckon, Rammer?
Nah, that's not a good one. I don't think there was too much there, but I will say why Damien Hardwick loves Ivan Soldo is because of that last contest. He just went hard at that ball, tapped it inside Richmond's forward 50.
Jake Arts on the approach, kicks from just inside the painted 50, and it's away to the left. The mark taken on the behind line.
That's behind the goal.
Lynch was claiming it, but no, it is going to be a minor score to the Tigers. So 4-4-28. Carlton 1-3-9. Margin 19 points the Tigers' way. 26 played in the opening term.
So the Blues come back into play through Mitch McGovern in defence in season 2022. Sets it towards Mackay. Spoiled away by Robbie Tarrant. Right there with him for the Tigers. Hoping to get one more crack at the possibility of featuring in September, making the decision to leave North Melbourne and head to Richmond.
Well, he's a perfect player for the Tigers because it allows Bolter to really be that versatile swing player that they may need at stages throughout the year.
Had that horrible tumour in the kidney last year to start the season, but great to see him fully fit. The Blues looking to find Harry Mackay. The kick from Hewitt was just short. Pickett takes it back for Richmond. Hand pass to Tarrant. His kick is over the head of Edwards. Challenging ball for Carlton's defence as Nankervis tried to knock it forward. A Blues player's down and with a bit of a shoulder injury. It could be Newman. As Oscar McDonald now is wrapped up in a tackle and thrown to the turf 50 metres out from the Tigers' goal. Richmond leading by 19 points.
I think he's got a bit of blood, Nick Newman.
Yep, right down the nose.
All up on the 50. Soldo fists it away. Closer to full forward. Then Curvis recovers it back to Revolt. Spilled it. Follows up here. He's getting the free kick. You could tell there was an accentuation of the contact there, Sellers. That time from Jack Revolt.
It's against George Hewitt. Yeah, he got him straight across the face. So
the right hand extended away from the body.
It's there. It's too high.
He does get him on the shoulder, but as to whether...
Well, you get hit in the face, it's too high.
There'll be no protestation from George Hewitt based on, I guess, the crackdown.
You look at Hewitt's reaction and he knows he's given away a free kick.
Revolt will kick from 40, slightly to the right, and he's missed. Accuracy not forthcoming from either side so far tonight. Richmond 4-5-29. Carlton 1-3-9. The margin is 20 late in this opening turn.
Look at the Richmond press here. So many players in this area.
McGovern sends it towards Paddy Cripps, who flew at the back past Charlie Curto. The mark was taken by Rioli as the siren sounds for quarter time. So a positive start for the Tigers. They lead by 20 points, 4-5-29 to the Blues, 1-3-9. 2 goals for Shea Bolton in that opening term. The other goals coming through Lynch and Baker. Meanwhile, for the Blues, their lone goal came through Matthew Kennedy. Great to have your company on Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
The future. Have Annabelle Crabb and Charlie Pickering been there?
No, hang on.
On Tomorrow Tonight, they ask a star-studded lineup of special guests questions they've never been asked before.
Let's start with you, Dave.
About things that haven't happened yet.
If you had a deep fake video of you... Are we going to the tape? This is like, our generation's no smoking, don't scan your conscience.
Tomorrow Tonight.
Really?
Starts Wednesday, March 30 on ABC TV or log in to stream on ABC iView.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Out past the floor, through the corridor he goes, looking for Soldo. The kick was wide of him, may still work out. Baker onto it, back to Soldo. The big man links it up to Bolton. Inside the 50, a burst of pace, and he finishes.
And he flies up here, misses the footy. Tigers recover it now. Hand pass comes out wide for Edwards. 65 from goal. Goes inside the arc and presenting well Baker. Marks in the right forward pocket, no more than 20 metres out. He opens up the angle, Liam Baker, and has Richmond second.
Thrown back in, Bolton tries to grab it at the back, shakes the tackle, gets clear and fires through his second. How impressive is Shea Bolton in tight confinement. He found a way out where there didn't appear to be one. Newman played on quickly for the Blues, was looking for Pitnet, the intercepting mark taken by Pickett in front. And the Tigers have it back. Comes inboard with a kick to Cochin, who will set Richmond into attack. Nankervis is there at the back, Lynch plucks it behind Big Nank. Tom Lynch comes in and this time he's able to steer it through.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Thursday night footy from the MCG. Richmond leading by 20 points at quarter time. 4-5-29 to the Blues, 1-3-9. Matt Clinch alongside Brett Sprigg calling the action. Your experts, Adam Romanascus and Mark McClure.
Well, interesting quarter, really. The Tigers actually dominated with 9 shots on goal to 4. And it came with 17 to 9 inside 50s. And their running patterns are just fantastic. From half back to through the middle, and Pickett's had a lot of ball. Presti is right up there with 9. Pickett's had 7. Martin's had 7. Baker, who's sort of a half-backer type guy. Grimes has had 6. Baker's had 6. It's just been a procession through the middle of the ground. The Blues haven't been able to hold them up or stop them in any way. 17-9 contested possessions, they're up, so they're getting beaten the contest as well by 7. So there's a few little issues there for the Blues. They need to stand up. They look a bit unsure to me on what they're doing and how they're doing it. But the Tigers are well drilled. They've used the ball well. They've taken their chances. They probably should be further in front, if you'd say that, because they've missed a couple of easy shots at goal. But they look really slick tonight, the Tigers.
Well, the tempo and the momentum in the game has been owned by the Tigers in that first quarter. You look at the run that you talk about, they look quicker across the ground. They look that their running's deeper. The Tigers look better organised in defence at the moment. They're able to push up the ground and squeeze. Their goal kicking, 4 goals, 5-9 scoring shots and 17 inside 50s is a fair return, but they probably left a couple out there. Lynch missed an easy one. Rewalt missed an easy one, so they've probably missed 2 or 3 really gettable ones to extend that lead. You look at differences, what the Tigers have done from previous years. Again, Baker comes and plays as a half forward now. It's a bit more life, a bit more buzz in there. Daniel Rioli, we saw them try him across half back later in the season last year. That looks permanent now. His run and carry looks like it's going to be exciting for the Tigers. He hasn't got that limp in that first grand final. He hurt his ankle really late, and it's taken him such a long time to get over that injury. But now he looks like that ankle is really strong, where he can get across the ground and use his really good skills. The Blues, on the other hand, they look stagnant at the moment. They can't move the ball with any real meaning.
Yeah.
But they've had, you look at Setterfield, Sard, Williams, O'Brien, Fisher. they've all had less than 5 possessions. They've had no impact on the game. Those guys are their runners. They need those guys constantly involved in the game. Williams and Saad, there's no excuse. The ball was down there a lot that quarter. The leading possession winner for Carlton is Sam Doherty.
It's unbelievable. I know. It's time to take some chances. It's time to have a crack. It's time to actually push hard and actually have a dip, because otherwise you're going to go down.
You've got to pressure the opposition. We spoke about Carlton potentially looking better through a pre-season defensively. But then the first 10 minutes of the game, they let Dustin Martin run around the middle of the ground by himself. He had 7 possessions before anybody went near him. And I thought, well, he's just going to stay through the middle of the ground for the entire game. Prestia's had 9.
Yeah.
But they're big numbers. Okay, Chera and Cripps and Hewitt have had 7 each. But the impact of Prestia and Martin has been much more significant than those 3 Carlton players to start this game.
Absolutely.
Adam Ramanauskas and Mark McClure with their analysis to quarter time. As always, we'd love to hear from you. 0437 774 774. Ian making the point. I'm at the MCG. I've had a few beers. I can't see the running clock on the scoreboard. Am I right?
Correct.
We've just fixed that, Ian, so I think we should be right from this point onwards.
How many beers he had?
A couple, he said. It might be my sort of 80,000. It might be a few more than that. And Clem from East Freo. Bolton plays a bit like Phil Cracker. The movement in a phone box is extraordinary. Thanks, Clem, for your contribution as well.
It is filling up in the southern stand. That southern stand is almost full.
Yeah.
Only for the corners at one end. So there's a fair few in this ground.
Are we allowed to call it the Shane Warne stand?
I was going to
yet?
say the soon-to-be Shane Warne stand.
SK.
No, it's the Shane Warne stand.
The Shane Warne stand.
Just call it the Warney stand, I
think he'd be happy with that as well. Tigers lead by 20 points as we get the second quarter underway. Nankervis and Pitnet. Pitnet wins down the opening tap. Got it to Cripps, trying to break his way through. Graham and Prestia laid the tackle. Ball spills clear. Chera gets the clearance. Hand pass to Kennedy. Kicks towards half forward. Charlie Curnow cleverly with his foot. Got it down to Pitnet. Back to Curnow. The hand pass back to Kennedy. Kicks a high ball inside the 50. Looking for Mackay. Worked out of it by Tarrant. He was held illegally.
They just pushed him out of the way.
Robbie Tarrant tried to get the arms around Big Harry. And in the eyes of the umpire, dragged him down. Did Harry go down a bit too easily or not?
No.
You know, is it a test of strength? That one's always interesting. They're wrestling. Is Tarrant just simply stronger than him? He's able to move him out of the way.
Well, are you supposed to be able to do that?
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't do the rules.
Harry Mackay, left forward pocket. Carlton need it. Their Coleman medalists can't deliver. Misses to the left-hand side. The Tigers by 19 points, a minute into the second term.
Short, buys some space in the left back pocket from the kick out. Goes beyond defensive 50. Carlton player hit the deck meantime. Pickett marks just forward of left half back. Keeps it moving up the line towards the one-on-one. Good spoil from Newman. That time over the back of Baker. Pitnet sliding out to the loose ball. Now beats Pickett to it. The big man did well. Off to Fisher. Zach Fisher, his kick in the middle of the ground, does okay here for Owies, lays off the hand pass back to Cripps running by. 65 from goal, needs a neat kick here, again towards the contest, top of the square. It's a little shallow, might work out okay for Grimes in defence. Silvani coming the other way as well, and short clears here for the Tigers, and will only go as far as Chera, right in the middle of the bullseye here at the MCG.
Chera turns towards the members' side, spots Pitnet, who feeds the hand pass around the back to Fisher. Now the all-important kick inside 50, sets it towards Harry Mackay. Flew, couldn't take the mark. Durden front and centre, snap on goal. On the left boot, misses to the right-hand side. So they're having their fair share of shots on goal, but they can't capitalise. Tigers by 18.
Richmond move the ball quickly. Comes out to the right back pocket. Here is Ross. Called to play on. Again, chooses that southern side of the MCG. Marked by Castagna. Plays on, up the line. Towards the contest. Big fly McGovern. Throws up above Soldo. They'll bring it away here, the Blues. Kennedy marks on the outer logo. Moves it away. Coming inboard now, O'Brien off to Cripps. He was a loose man. 55 from goal. Pretty close here. It's going to go over the head of Durden and bounce through for a goal. Good vision it was from Corey Durden. And the finish from Paddy Cripps from beyond 50. That's the goal Carlton needed to close the gap to 12 points. Richmond 4-5-29. The Blues 2-5-17. Early stages, second term, ABC Grandstand AFL.
Gee whiz, we've been hard on McGovern, but gee whiz, that was terrific to take that mark. Gutsy to stand up over the top of him and take a ripper mark and then put it into the right spot in Cripps' hands. and he just poked it through the middle and they let it go through. So to me, that's taking a dangerous assault on what's going on, and I think you need to do more of that. Have a crack at it, try things, do things differently than we did in the first half when you fumbled and messed up. Just go for it.
Well, you're spot on there, Sellers, because McGovern takes that mark and rather than kicking down the line, looks inboard.
He did.
Brings the ball back inboard, gives the Blues a chance, gives the Blues multiple options when the ball comes back through the centre of the ground.
Carlton with their second goal of the match, their first since the 9-minute mark of the opening term. Free kick in the middle of the ground against Pitnet in the ruck, and Nankervis is going to take it.
If Mitch McGovern gets his confidence at centre-half back, he will have a very good year, because that's just a little glimpse of what he can do athletically, take marks like that.
Feeds the hand pass to Martin, still no one near him. Possession number 8, found Graham inside the centre square, kicks towards Tom Lynch, spoiled away by Wiedering, and it rolls out of play in the right forward pocket in front of Lockie O'Brien. Tigers by 12 points, 4 minutes gone, second term.
Gentle hum around the MCG. On our way to 80,000 people, we hope, we think. Back in it comes, just inside forward 50 here for the Tigers. Bolton got a kind bounce to O'Brien. Hand pass picked off though by Baker. Kicks out wide for Soldo. It was a little too deep over the top. We'll come back here for a free kick and put down off the ball. Down there for the Blues. Kennedy. It is going to go the way of Kennedy. He got some contact from Nankervis, so Kennedy will cross the goal mouth. Here is Wiedering, has a bounce. I'll switch here towards the members' side. You can hear the footsteps coming here from Lynch, and he just finds McDonald. Now just inside the boundary line at right half back for Carlton. 12 points is Richmond's lead.
So Oscar McDonald had it. They had the loose Silvani on the wing, but they just couldn't quite get it up to him. So a patient game back to Wiedering.
Switch the ball.
Too slow.
There's not a lot of run either. Short now to Zach Williams, who marks between half back and the wing. He's going to retreat back further to Oscar McDonald, who marks inside the defensive 50.
Oh, don't let Oscar kick it.
The brakes have been put on the Blues by Richmond's press. Sard gets the footy. He only knows one way, and that's to run. Chips the ball to McGovern, who marks on 50.
That's 50
now Soldo didn't stand, so this is going to get Carlton out of jail. McGovern's going to be taken from half back to half forward. Now the 50 metres is short, so he goes for the pass, and Cripps takes the mark in front position against Cochin.
I think that's a great position for Cripps to set himself up around that half forward line. From the centre bounce, if you have a look at Martin, that's what he does, goes in the centre bounce and then sets up around half forward. This guy can mark it, he can kick it, he does it all, and he's really fit at the moment. Lost a lot of weight, looks good.
So Patrick Cripps, having kicked the last goal for the Blues, can he make it 2 on the trot and try and pull his side within one straight kick? Directly in front, Cripps to kick from 40 metres out. The Carlton co-captain comes in and puts through his second. And doesn't that give the Carlton fans a lift? The Blues are the last 2 goals of the match, and we're back to a 1 straight kick ball game. Richmond 4-5-29 to the Blues 3-5-23. 6 minutes gone, second turn. Mitch Cleary on the boundary.
A concern for Richmond. Dion Prestia limping down to the rooms, gone straight down with medicos. It looked really frustrated. We know the battles he's had with soft tissue, so I'll keep you posted on him. But Hugo Ralsmith, their sub, is warming up at the moment, so not good signs for Richmond.
Oh, that's horrible for Prestia, because he's had a full pre-season, and then to come out in the first game of the year, and fingers crossed for him. But I'll give Soldo a bit of a chop out. He's never played under the standard mark rules, so he's a ruckman as well. So I'll give him a little bit of a chop out.
Guess what? Yeah, guess what?
The first 2 goals of the second term, Carlton's way. Here is Pitnet and Soldo in the middle, and now a free kick spin spot going Richmond's way. Sure. Martin almost took advantage. He kicks now up the corridor, inside forward 50. McDonald, the contest, couldn't finish off the mark. Wiedering on hands and knees. McDonald has a tackle. Doherty just sweeps a hand pass wide now. On the bounce, they can clear through centre field. High ball beyond defensive 50.
Well done.
Out there, Gordon Silvani.
Hey, Silvani's fight was fantastic.
And he finds the boundary line. We'll throw it back in between wing and half forward. In Richmond's attacking half, the punt road end. It's the Tigers who lead by 6 points, but momentum so far this second term with Carlton.
They've had the last 4 scores in the contest, 2 goals and 2 behinds. Pitnet took it out of the ruck, hand pass to Setterfield to Docky, and now to Chera. chisels a kick around the boundary line looking for Charlie Curnow. He can't keep it alive as Noah Bolter sees it out of play. Mitch Cleary on the boundary.
Hugo Roll-Smith has the training top off. He's into the jumper, front row of the bench. He's done his warm-up. No sign of Dion Presti. It looks like he's about to be subbed out of the game. I'll keep you posted on what the injury is.
So only 9 games in the each of the last 2 seasons for Prestia with those soft tissue injuries. Soldo was shoved out of the right battle and will take the free kick on the members wing. The Tigers leading by a goal. Goes short to Broad, who takes the mark at the back edge of the centre square. Back inside the defensive 50, finds Noah Bolter. He looks out towards half-back.
Just missed him.
Kick. Kicked it wide of, 2 intended targets in the end. And Ross has to see as the ball trickles over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in. So a rare error from Richmond so far in this match. A throw-in at left half forward for the Blues.
6 points Richmond's lead. Umpire heaves it back in. Pitnet to the front. Slaps it out the back. First pair of hands to it, O'Brien. Now Kennedy. High ball inside forward 50 for Carlton, but only yellow and black jumpers back there. Grimes presents any further advance here. Marking 25 out from defensive goal. Now they'll bring it wide for Gibcus, the debutant. His first AFL game. Finds Rioli. Left half back here for Richmond. Controlled this game so far, the Tigers. Carlton would love another goal here. Rioli dumps it high along the members' wing. Going up in front. Again, Kennedy. At ground level. Chera goes in hard. He's dumped at a big tackle, wins the free kick. That time it was a little too forthcoming from Jake Arts. So Chera, the former Docker, brings it wide now for Kennedy in front of our broadcast position on the members' side of the MCG.
The voice of Brett Sprigg alongside Matt Clench with you on ABC Sport. As Kennedy goes short to George Hewitt. One of a couple of big signings for the Blues with Adam Chera combining there. Hewitt sends it towards half forward. Big fly.
Great mark.
Tom De Koning comes in and takes the mark, working nicely with Charlie Curnow. Feeds the hand pass to Paddy Cripps. He kicks to the top of the goal square. How will it bounce? Beautifully taken by Pitner.
Can you believe that?
Dribbles it through. Touched.
What?
Touched. Seemed the most certain of goals for the Carlton big man. He couldn't believe it.
Hit the post.
That it hit the bottom of the right goalpost, or was it Grimes got a touch? I think he hit the bottom of the right goalpost.
That's even worse then.
That's a Monty. Richmond by 5 points.
That's your old mate Percy Jones.
That's typical.
Quick kick out short to Arts. His kick up the wing taken by McDonald. The Oscar, who, by the way, turns 26 tomorrow.
Actually, Perce kicked the post. He missed the ball.
Oscar McDonald.
You're correct.
His kick up the line. It's picked off here by Arts, which can try again from the flank. Defensive half of the ground. On the half volley, Williams dumped at a big tackle. Hand pass away here. Picked off again by Arts. Richmond get the footy back, so they're sharing it around now. Richmond to Carlton, going inside forward 50, and Lynch gives away the free kick on McGovern. And Mitch McGovern, who was manhandled by Tom Lynch at left half back. It's Carlton's ball. They trail by 5 points. 3-6 plays 4-5. We've played 12 minutes in this second term on Grandstand AFL.
The Blues are 7-2 inside 50s in this second quarter. Here's Hewitt trying to burst his way clear. Was tackled and brought down by Short. Still a chance for Cripps. Got it forward to Silvani. Now to O'Brien just outside 50. Durden the target. He beautifully positioned himself, cutting in front of Tom De Koning, coming out on the lead. And a chance here for Carlton to try and take the lead at the 12-minute mark of the second term.
This is the thing with Lockie O'Brien. He can kick the ball beautifully inside forward 50, just there.
That's a beautiful kick.
It's a tough kick. He's going in between defenders and a leading forward, but he saw Durden. If he can just do that more often.
Oh, I think he's a player.
The South Australian from the left forward pocket. Great finish from Corey Durden. And he puts the Blues in front. 3 goals to none in this second term. Having trailed by 20 points at quarter time, Carlton hit the lead at the 12-minute mark of the second term. 4-6-30 to the Tigers, 4-5-29 Sellers.
Well, they've upped their energy, I think, at this stage. I mean, every time they've taken a mark, they've played on, they've moved, they've got the opposition offside. Instead of standing still and chipping around all over the place and giving a chance to the opposition, they've actually moved the ball, got it in quick, hit the right spots. They've got numbers around the ball more than they had in the first quarter. And the difference is, you know what? They're in front.
Well, they're completely dominating possession this quarter, the Blues, 52-22. But what's really evident is the handball receives 20-4. So they're just getting that running game going now where they're overlapping, they're sharing the ball around, rewarding the runners.
On the restart, goes to Koning. Cripps, hand pass through traffic. Great work. They'll win it away here through Hewitt, the former Swan. High ball inside forward 50 for Carlton. Overrun that time. O'Reilly was too far underneath it. Dicey hand pass going in the air. Almost a hospital ball for Shea Bolton. One away by Setterfield here of the Blues. Off the Doherty. Nurses a kick high in the air and it's marked at right half forward by Owies. Goes inside forward 50 now. Presenting to the pocket. Silvani a second bite. Good spoil from Broad to punch it clear. Out of bounds for a throw in. Deep in Carlton's attack at the city end. 30 around from that right behind post. It's the Blues, so we're in front by a point. 4-6 plays 4-5 midway through the second term.
Charlie Kerno to do the ruck work against Nankervis. Dropped it down to the front. Ball ricochets into the corridor for Carlton. But there's nowhere but Tigers there. Grimes gathers. Hand pass to Broad. Kicks towards half-back. Setterfield underneath it. Had it spoiled away by Ralph Smith. And Trent Cotchin's taken over the boundary line by Adam Chera.
You know what they're doing now? They're testing Richmond now. They're actually testing, can you stay with us? Can you work with us? Can you do that? Because I haven't seen, as you say, in the numbers there, they're poor in this quarter. Tigers are half the numbers to the Blues.
Mitch Cleary on the boundary.
Just had confirmation from the Tigers is a hamstring injury for Dion Prestia. We know the battles he's had with that part of his body.
Thanks, Mitch. Hewitt this time
kick.
goes into the pocket, a lower kick, and Silvani marks on his chest. There's not much Broad could do about that delivery. And Jack Silvani has it hard up against the boundary. He'll shoot from 45 metres out.
Well,
just take your time, go back.
See if he can hit the target. Cripps is in the middle on his own.
So Jack Silvani. It's hard to think of a time where there wasn't a Silvani involved in the Carlton Football Club. A chance here to write his own history, and that's a beautiful kick. It just faded late. And missed to the left-hand side. A minor score. Carlton lead by 2 points at the 15-minute mark of the second term.
Been influential this quarter, Silvani. That little punch out in the side here to get it over the line. Little things that the team play he does is really good.
Richmond chip it away. That offensive 50, repeating Hugo Ralph Smith. Subbed into the game. Dion Prestia out with a hamstring. Still alive here for Cotchin, the now former skipper of the Tigers. Up the outer side. Sets a task for Castagna, who was all on his own. To reach up and take the overhead mark. Starting to break clear. Getting down the ground here to give him options, Castagna. And drives it towards the paint of 50. 2-on-2. O'Brien there for Carlton. Dumped at a big tackle. Just got the hand pass away on time. Doherty carries it back here for De Koning up the line. His kick's a turnover as well, going straight down the throat of Noah Bolter. So Richmond can try again. Switching across the half-back line. It's marked by Broad. It's the Blues who lead by 2 points. 16 gone second term.
Broad called the play on. Charlie Kerno now charges at him as he looks at options. Goes short to Gibcus. Richmond's first draft pick in last year's draft. Short to Broad, who just juggled the mark. And his fingertips inside the boundary line. Still has it left half back for the Tigers. Up around the boundary line to Rioli.
The Tigers aren't looking that sure now, are they?
Well, they look like Carlton in the first quarter.
They do, exactly the same. It's a complete turnaround.
Rioli veers out to the right and sets it long in the direction of Nankervis. He brought it down to the front. Revolt couldn't take it cleanly. Working hard is Williams, trying to wrestle the footy away. He can't do so.
Got him. Holding the ball.
He is going to win a free kick for holding the ball. So a little bit tough for Jake Arts, who had not much opportunity to try and knock it clear. Williams takes the free kick short to Newman at half-back for the Blues.
Newman squeezes the kick around here for Doherty. Avoid of options. Holds it for 50. A moment. That's going to be 50 as we saw Edwards step off the mark.
Now this would be a great goal for Doherty if he can get this.
What did Edwards do?
Is it Edwards or was it an infringing play? Edwards gone against Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
Now I fancy it may have been the player running by. It's gone against Edwards here for overstepping the mark, but you can also see as well.
He didn't move though on the mark, did he?
No.
So it's only if he didn't come back.
So this brings Doherty within range.
That was on Tom Lynch.
Wouldn't this be a loud cheer?
This could be.
He'll kick from 35 out directly in front. The Carlton co-captain on his comeback from cancer. Unbelievable scenes. They come from everywhere. Carlton have the momentum. And they have an 8-point lead as well. 5-7-37. Richmond 4-5-29. Approaching time on second quarter here at the MCG on Grandstand AFL.
You just listen to the crowd. How much it means to Carlton supporters to have Sam Docherty back. You see the reaction from his teammates, how popular he is as a teammate. It's been a massive struggle for Sam Docherty, obviously, to get back to the playing field, but that'll be a special moment. He won't forget that one anytime soon.
You're talking about 12 weeks of chemo over the off-season. To not only get back, we spoke about it pre-game, to be alive and healthy, but be playing football again and the physical demands that takes.
Absolute phenomenal effort, and he's a great human being, and he should be so proud of himself.
What a great story. Cochin gets the clearance in the middle of the ground for Richmond, kicks towards half forward. Ross couldn't take the mark, Pickett taken high. And a tackle which was overzealous from Patrick Cripps, who has the jumper ripped. Quickly with the hand pass to Martin. He goes with a barrel long towards full forward. Lynch shoved out of it. Umpires given a Carlton free kick. It's going Oscar McDonald's way. So there was a bit of pushing from both players in that marking contest.
There always is with the big boys there.
Yeah,
there's a stack of it.
Battle of strength, and Oscar McDonald wins on this occasion. Sends Carlton long towards half back. Up Charlie Curnow. Touch though. Quickly tackled by Pickett. Got the hand pass away to Setterfield, who sends a long ball around the Great Southern Stand wing. Owies will get a free kick for a hold.
At 50 metres too. Again, another one.
The co-captain didn't immediately release it, then went to kick it back and kicked it over his head.
And that is undisciplined.
Yeah. We saw a bit of this from Richmond last year. The Tigers' frustration. And Matthew Owies is going to be taken from the wing to within scoring distance when the umpire stops.
40 metres.
40 metres out from goal.
They're starting to unravel.
15 goals, 17 for Matthew Owies last season. The former basketballer without Eddie Betts, hoping alongside Durden and Fisher, one of the small forwards who can make their mark on this Carlton side. Owies crosses through 50 for 5 goals in this second quarter. He leaves it out to the left-hand side. And a minor score. 4-5 in this second quarter to Richmond failing to score. The Blues lead by 9 points, 20 minutes gone, second term.
Again, Jaden Short on kick-out duties. Pumps it long beyond defensive 50. Leaping up at the back there, Revolt. At the back, Sard now for Carlton. Pumps it back inside forward 50. Reaching for it, Jack Martin. Grimes gets there for the Tigers, taking without the football. Nothing forthcoming here. Jack Martin straightens up on goal from the pocket and wobbles it to the left-hand side for a minor score. So Carlton still peppering away. 5-8-38. Make it 5-9-39. Richmond 4-5-29. So a margin 10 points. We've hit time on second term.
Inside 50, 14-3, Blues way.
Short quickly in to Gibcus, who takes the mark in the left back pocket for the Tigers. Drives a long kick up to the members' side. Pitnet positions himself beautifully. Takes the mark with no opposing big man there. Looks to send it in the path of Harry Mackay, who comes out on a long lead. He marks 75 metres out from goal. Spots Cripps just outside 50. He looks into the corridor, working it over the top to Kennedy. Position himself well, but the Tigers are able to spoil it late. And here's Butler through the middle of Baker through the middle of half back. Got the hand pass to Pickett. 2 bounces as he runs the Great Southern Stand. Kicks to Bolton. Can't quite take the mark. Quickly regathers in front of Mitch McGovern. On the right boot. Snaps on goal and misses to the right hand side. That would have been some goal for the Tigers. Just couldn't quite come up with it. It's their first score of the second quarter.
Well, it's their first real passage of play, Clinchy.
Comes at the 22-minute mark.
Their first real exciting passage of play from the Tigers this quarter.
15 for the inside 50s this second term. Sard, kick out. And he kicks to Cripps, whose jumper is ripped. He's got his entire left side of his jumper down the sleeve, the armhole, completely ripped. We need a new one. Setterfield, out wide to Silvani, just forward to the wing. Presenting for him, takes on the tackler. Great work it was from Grimes, all over him holding the ball. And they're still going at it as well. That will be a free kick Richmond's way, and 50.
Oh,
the demonstration continued.
Who's fighting who?
I thought Grimes was hanging on too long there, but it must have been against Silvani. Having a look at that again, and Silvani was obviously frustrated. He's away to 50. So Grimes now 65 from goal. Short kick, too short around the corner, and finds Castagna marking in the pocket. A simple chest mark, 25 out.
I just don't. I understand that the umpires have got to be more strict on that stuff throughout the year, but it's not clear who was wrestling who in that little scuffle between Grimes and Silvani.
Unfortunately, they have to make a decision somewhere.
Runs around here to open up the angle. It's well across the face of goal, and it's a drop in the field of play, bounce into the left-hand goalpost for a minor score. So Richmond here, 4:7:31, trailing Carlton, 5:9:39. We've played 24 minutes into this second quarter on ABC Grandstand AFL.
Tigers led by 20 points at quarter time. The Blues leading by 8 points heading towards half time. Williams brings Carlton back into play. Short to Oscar McDonald and then out to Jacob Wiedering, who takes the mark in the right back pocket. Wants to feed it back to Williams. Around Tom Lynch on the mark. Had to sidestep Bolter. Did that well, Williams. And then looks to kick to Kennedy. It is a great kick. Opens up the field in front of him. If he can push back quickly, there's one-on-ones further afield. Martin's running past and got a smother to it.
That's 50
Was he
metres.
inside the restricted
Of course
zone?
he was.
Baker with a hand pass back to Martin. Kicks it to the outer wing. Castagna takes the mark.
Kennedy didn't come off his line, so it's clearly inside.
Tries to find Pickett, centre field in the contest. Pickett slides after it. Sard gets there first. Mops up, hand pass to McDonald. Now centre field. The one-time giant comes up the outer side. Marked by the Koning all by himself at left half forward. Goes inside 50 and sprays the kick. It's going out of bounds, just taking some of the chalk. And we'll throw it back in. 25 around from that left behind post. Deep in attack for Carlton at the city end. They lead by 8 points, the Blues, having kicked 4 goals to none in this second term so far as we get nearer to half time.
Thrown back in to Koning to do the ruck work against Soldo. Punch to the front. Ross is the only one there. He gathers for Richmond. Looks to hug the boundary line with a kick to Castagna, who takes it in front of a lunging Setterfield. Plays on. Gets the hand pass to Shea Bolton. Feeds it over the top to Rioli. Just wide of him. Couldn't gather it cleanly. Kennedy puts his body on the line and wins it for the Blues. Hand pass to Sard. On the pounce now. Kicks it forward to Setterfield. The hand pass to Cripps. Inside 50. Got it off the inside of the boot. It's an up and under kick. Martin didn't fly in the end. Left it for Owies, who brought it down, but the Tigers emerged through it. Soldo to Ralph Smith.
Ralph Smith breaks clear, comes up the line now and spots the target. Bolter takes a chest mark just forward to the wing, member's side. His kick is wasted though, and coming across at pace, Sam Doherty. Full stretch to his right, and O'Brien has stood a very easy mark trying to receive that kick from Doherty. It's gone out of bounds here for a throw-in. Inside Richmond's attacking half, punt road end. Late in this second term, can they make something of this? Hugo Ralph Smith into the game for Dion Prestia, subbed out with a hamstring injury, as you heard from Mitch Cleary earlier. Back in it comes, it missed both rucks. Jack Martin, dumped by Edwards, ball jars free. Shea Bolton's kick smothered by Sard. Out to Doherty. His kick will go towards Kennedy. A little too hot for him. Kennedy bends down to pick it up now inside the boundary line. Up the line for Jack Martin. A well-weighted pass, and Jack Martin holds the footy just behind the wing at the right half-back flank.
Wants to give the hand pass to Fisher, running boundary side. Sends Carlton towards half forward. Charlie Kerner has 2 to compete against. Brought down by Gibcus. Regathers the footy with good support.
Great tackle.
Run down though was Grimes.
The Conning.
Tom Koning got the tackle. No prior opportunity, said the umpire. It was a good call. Quickly throws it up. Nankervis wins down the tap to Ross. Art's dragged off it. Didn't seem to be in possession of the footy. Cripps over the top of it for Carlton. Can't quite knock it clear as he battles with Arts with the ball locked in underneath them. Little topo from Edwards trying to clear it. Hand pass to Ralph Smith. Back to Graham.
Poor disposal. Yes.
Well, I thought he didn't have it cleanly, but the umpire teamed he did have possession, and as a result has penalised him holding the ball. Matt Kennedy to take it at right half forward for the Blues.
Kennedy looks at the options, pops it inside forward 50. Mackay presents, kick was too deep for him, off the shins of Grimes. Ball still alive here. Durden head over it, does well. Arts though comes through for the Tigers. Graham's met it before he had it. Ball still alive here, just inside forward 50 for Carlton. Durden Fisher receives it now, back to Durden, and a big tackle. Great work by Jake Arts. Out of bounds for a throw-in, 40 around from Carlton's goal, City end.
Good piece of play, that. No one actually really had control of the ball, but there was about 10 or 15 fighting for it. It's terrific.
Carlton by 8 points. Richmond haven't kicked a goal in this second quarter. The Blues have kicked 4 goals, 6. Pitnet beautifully over the bat. No one there, though. And a chance for the Tigers. Castagna missed his intended target. Nankervis. Fisher inside 50. No mark claimed by Owies. Still a chance for Harry Mackay. Dragged down. Great lunging effort by Tarrant. Still a chance for the Blues. Fisher had another go. Slipped over as he goes kick. Here's Kennedy. Lunging hand pass looking for Charlie Curnow. And eventually it's the Tigers who emerged with it. Arts kicks out to Revolt. He drops the mark. Some tired players. Paddles it on to Martin on the members' wing. And a chance for the Tigers to move it forward. On the instep, kick to Ross in the back. There's Mitch McGovern trying to lay the tackle. Just rode in the back of Jack Ross, and everyone gets a chance to take a breath. Carlton leading by 8 points.
That is the half-time siren. The second term belonged to Carlton, albeit at times wasteful. 5-9-39 to 4-7-31. So, as Pinchy said, 4 goals, 6 to 2 behinds in that second quarter of play. Goals in this game so far, 2 for Shea Bolton of the Tigers, singles for Baker and Lynch, but no new goal scorers in that second term for Richmond, while for Carlton, 2 for Paddy Cripps, singles for Matt Kennedy, Corey Durden, and a goal to Sam Doherty, probably the clubhouse leader for the feel-good moment of the season so far.
No doubt about that.
Across town, the Melbourne Storm in action in the NRL, taking on the South Sydney Rabbitohs. 16 minutes in, the opening try of the way of the Storm, they lead 4-0. The thoughts of Mark McClure and Adam Ramanaskas with you on ABC Sport.
I just think it was an interesting turnaround. What happened to Carlton in the first quarter happened to Richmond in the second. They had kicked 2 points for the quarter. I think that's right, isn't it? 2 points? Yeah, 2 points for the quarter. And you have a look at the term, and all of a sudden the inside 50s that they had was massive in that area. 22 to 13 inside 50s. All those sorts of things. 19-16. 19
to 6.
Yeah, there was a smashing in that area there. Their midfield started to take control. I mean, the big boys were taking marks. They were actually much more aggressive at the contest, and that's what you want to see. There was rumbling all over the place. The Tigers got a little huddle in the middle of the ground there. Don't know what that does for you.
Just on that, Sellers, I find that interesting. That Cochin is the one that's talking in the middle of the huddle rather than the 2 new captains in Grimes and Nankervis.
That's interesting. Yeah, I agree with that, which means that they've lost their way a little bit in that quarter. I love the way that they shared the ball around as well up forward. The contest was just massive. Contested possessions went up. Blues were 36 to 24. So there's 12 in front where they were before. So that all of a sudden the whole thing tipped on its head. And all of a sudden they start to kick some scores. They moved the ball through the middle of the ground with speed and haste and handball. The handball business was huge. I think it was up to 30 or something for the quarter. Yep. Was that right? Somewhere around the 30s for the quarter, which is massive, which means it brings people into play. It gives them an opportunity to run and move the ball around the ground. Complete turnaround. Terrific to see. Sam Doherty's goal. We'll never forget that.
No. And it's going to be one of the highlights of the season, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right in
Very
round
special
one.
moment.
I'm a little bit... after that.
Yeah, it was a really, really special moment for Sam Doherty, but also
for football.
His teammates, the fans, and it just shows people, if you're resilient enough, you can get back and you can do what you love. And Sam always had his eye on coming back to playing football. He's been able to achieve that tonight. He's had a super first half. He's kicked the goal, and he's had 15 possessions in the first half. So it's no token gesture that Sam Doherty's playing tonight.
Hey, the boy can play.
Oh, yeah, absolutely he can play. But I think you look at that first quarter, and I spoke about Prestia and Martin and their impact that they were really having on the game. That flips around in the second quarter. The impact that Hewitt, Cripps, Matty Kennedy have. So Kennedy's had 17 and a goal in the half. Cripps has had 16 and 2 goals in the half. But they lifted their rating in the second half. Cripps is getting maximum impact forward of the ball. I watched him for a lot of that quarter just to see where he would run. And Sellers picked up on it early in the game where he spoke about Cripps playing more forward. So still playing in the middle of the ground when he needs to, but drifting forward. And when
it's hard to handle in that position.
Yeah, absolutely. When he starts to drift forward, he's 6'3", 6'4". So you've got to have a matchup for him. You absolutely got to have a matchup for him.
Especially when everyone's looking at Harry Mackay, Tom de Koning, the tall targets there.
Yeah.
Does just allow that other option. The other interesting talking point, Richmond gave away 3 50-metre penalties, Rammer, and there were conversations around their discipline last year when things weren't going their way. Do you read much into that, given
the
it was...
Soldo one wasn't much at all. The Doherty one in the middle of the ground, was that Tom Lynch or was that Edwards? You know, they're not disciplinary reasons that they've given away. It's just, it's an interpretation of the rules. Yep. So I don't think you can question their discipline in the first half of that game. But what I can question in that first half with Richmond is that when Carlton got the momentum, they couldn't stop it. Prestia comes off the ground, so you lose one of your prime ball winners, prime ball movers. Ralph Smith comes on. But then that puts a lot more responsibility on Dustin Martin in the middle of the ground. Edwards has to come up and play more in the midfield. Bolt was having a huge impact forward in that first quarter. Then he has to play big minutes in that second quarter. Cochin's the interesting one for me because he hasn't had a real big first half. No. But now, is he still that hungry ball winner of what we're so used to seeing, or is he going to play more of that defensive role and go and stop a Paddy Cripps or a Matty Kennedy in the middle of that ground? Because he only had the 3 possessions in that quarter. He's had 6 for the half. So he hasn't had a real massive impact on the game yet. We know how good Trent Cotchin can be, of course, but he's probably just got to find, what role is it now moving forward?
The big thing for me was they turned a 20-point deficit into an 8-point sort of in front. So that's a massive difference for the Blues, and their dynamics changed with the speed of movement and the speed of foot and the numbers around the ball. If you get more numbers around the ball, you're going to win. 2 will beat 1, 3 will beat 2. That's how it works.
I want to mention Mitch McGovern because I think he's been a really maligned player for a number of years at Carlton. Yeah, and it's been difficult on him at many times. You know, he's overweight at one stage. He was doing extra sessions to try and get that down. He looks comfortable at centre-half back. He's got a job. Yep. He's got a player that he needs to play on. And then when he can attack the ball and take a mark or run or carry and do what he can, he's been able to do that tonight. So I look at that and I go, well, just settle him in that position. So if Charlie Curnow gets injured again or has a rest, don't put him forward. Just keep him at centre-half back. Settle him down. You're going to get your value for money for him there.
There'll be matches when you need to have him up there too. As well.
Which was originally the way Adelaide used him, as a half-back onto the wing and then swing forward late in quarters. Half-time here at the MCG. It's the Blues leading by 8 points. 5-9-39 to the Tigers 4-7-31. Back to the MCG shortly, but let's get the latest from the ABC newsroom.
ABC News with Glenn Lauder. The mayor of the Ukrainian city of Mykolaiv says the Russian president's actions are like Hitler's, accusing him of deliberately targeting civilians. Ukrainian authorities say Moscow dropped a massive bomb on a theatre in besieged Mariupol, where hundreds of people, including children, were hiding from shelling. Moscow denies it bombed the theatre, but Mayor Alexander Senkevich says the Russian president is a liar.
Putin is looking like Hitler right now. What he's doing is he do something bad and then says that someone else did it. For sure, that was a Russian aircraft who bombed the theatre. On the pictures, we can see that was a huge bomb.
Meanwhile, a member of the New South Wales Ukrainian Council says Western countries and NATO need to send more help to Kiev. Andrew Masinski says the territorial battalions defending Ukrainian cities are made up of mostly ordinary people who've stayed back to fight. He says the level of help NATO is giving Ukraine at the moment, given the size of the challenge, is disgraceful.
Ukraine needs further arms. Ukraine needs further support from NATO. If we're not going to get a no-fly zone, if we're not going to get boots on the ground, then lethal military aid just needs to get there as soon as humanly possible so these guys can fight against the tanks with something somewhat more modern than a homemade Molotov cocktail.
The future of these star casino groups is in jeopardy after damning evidence was heard on day one of an inquiry into its suitability to hold a gaming licence. With the story, Cayman Gok.
The inquiry is examining allegations the casino enabled money laundering, financed terrorism and was involved with junkets linked to criminal syndicates. Today it heard Star executives knew $900 million of Chinese funds being used for gambling at the casino were instead disguised as hotel expenses. The Star's assistant treasurer, Palinka Dudek, told the inquiry she misled NAB when the bank questioned it and had been directed to provide that response by senior management. The inquiry will interrogate half a dozen executives over the next 2 weeks as it probes whether the casino has been facilitating criminal activities.
The chair of the Royal Commission into Defence and Veteran Suicide has raised concerns parliamentary privilege legislation could impede the Commission's work. Cecilia Connell explains.
The Commission wrapped up its third round of public hearings in Sydney this afternoon. In his closing remarks, Chair Nick Caldus flagged that the Parliamentary Privilege Act was restricting the Commission from considering documents tabled to Parliament that specifically relate to defence and veteran suicide. He stated that it diminished their capacity to meet their terms of reference and deliver the outcomes the community should rightly expect. He said the commissioners will be writing to the parliamentary officers and government to take action.
If you or anyone you know needs help, you can call Lifeline on 13 11 14. At least another 30,000 residents across the Northern Rivers region of New South Wales will get extra federal government disaster payments. Flood victims in the Ballina, Byron, Kyogle and Tweed councils can receive an additional 2 weekly payments of $1,000 for adults and $400 per child. Locals have expressed their frustration around the delay because the same support was announced for Lismore, Richmond Valley and Clarence Valley last week. The Minister for Government Services, Linda Reynolds, says more financial support is also on the way.
We've already announced $1 billion of grants, so there is more coming, but it's getting the right support at the right time.
Domestic and family violence advocates say statistics showing a decline in reported incidents in Victoria aren't showing the full picture. Data from the crime statistics agencies revealed 1,000 fewer family violence incidents were reported in 2021 compared to the previous year. Close to 1,400 fewer family violence orders were also reportedly breached. Chief Executive of Respect Victoria, Emily Maguire, says there could be many reasons behind the drop.
For the reporting period that we're talking about, Victoria spent much of 2021 staying at home, and that may well have had an impact on women's comfort in reporting or their ability to be able to report to police.
And a man's died and 20 children have been injured after a bus ran off the road in Papua New Guinea's capital, Port Moresby. Here's Natalie Whiting.
The bus filled with school children ploughed off one of Port Moresby's main highways and down the side of a hill. The driver has died and 20 students have been taken to hospital. Staff at the Port Moresby General say the severity of the students' injuries varies, but at least one is in a critical condition. It's not clear what caused the bus to run off the road.
ABC News.
Available now on ABC Listen. Enjoy great Aussie audiobooks all summer long, now free to stream on the ABC Listen app. Like Defying the Enemy Within.
Regardless of my achievements in league and boxing, I sincerely believe my journey with the enemy within will be my biggest and most significant contribution.
And Red Dog.
A collared kingfisher sang Pookie, Pookie, Pookie as it flew overhead.
A great range of ABC audiobooks, free to stream on the ABC Listen app.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season. Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Kennedy marks on the outer logo, moves it away. Coming inboard now, O'Brien off to Cripps. He was a loose man. 55 from goal. Pretty close here. It's going to go over the head of Durden and bounce through for a goal. Good vision it was from Corey Durden. And the finish from Paddy Cripps from beyond 50. That's the goal Carlton needed.
Here's Hewitt trying to burst his way clear. Was tapped and brought down by Short. Still a chance for Cripps. Got it forward to Silvani. Now to O'Brien just outside 50. Durden the target. He beautifully positioned himself, cutting in front of Tom Taccone, coming out of the lead. From the left forward pocket, great finish from Corey Durden. And he puts the Blues in front.
Newman squeezes the kick around here for Doherty. Avoid of options, holds it for 50. A moment. That's going to be 50 as we saw Edwards step off the mark. He'll kick from 35 out directly in front. The Carlton co-captain on his comeback from cancer. Unbelievable scenes. They come from everywhere.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Half-time at the MCG, the Blues are the dominant second quarter, putting 4 goals to none to lead by 8 points at the main break. 5-9-39 to the Tigers, 4-7-31. Matt Clinch and Brett Spreed calling the action alongside Adam Ramanaskas and Mark McClure, and Mitch Cleary down on the boundary. In the NRL tonight, round 2 across town at Amy Park, just across Yarra Park from the MCG here. It's the Melbourne Storm leading 14 points to 0. 34 minutes gone there against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Also whip you through some of the teams for the rest of the weekend's footy which has come through, but the other news which took place a couple of hours before this match got underway is the Western Bulldogs coach Luke Beveridge issued an apology for his outburst at his press conference which took place after Melbourne's victory last night against the Western Bulldogs. Here's some of what he had to say.
I've reflected on my comments from the post-game press conference after last night's game and acknowledge that my exchange with journalist Tom Morris overstepped the mark. I want to apologise for my behaviour. I want to apologise to Tom Morris and all those present last night, including other members of the media, definitely to our members, our supporters, our partners and the wider football community. We do have strong values at the Bulldogs that we all sign up to. They're values that I believe in, values that I support and live. My actions last night were not consistent with those values or the way we go about our business as a football club or I go about my life as an individual. I recognise that what I did was not okay. It was not representative of our club culture, which is so special and means so much to me. I was highly emotional. It is no excuse to let those emotions spill over and get the better of me in a forum like that.
So the Western Bulldogs coach Luke Beveridge making a statement to the Bulldogs social media page late this afternoon. Half-time here at the MCG, Carlton leading Richmond by 8 points. The highlight, of course, of so far this first half, Sam Doherty's goal, which gave everyone here at the ground goosebumps. Great to see him back after a battle with testicular cancer. So some of the teams which will take place for the rest of the weekend's action. Friday night footy, St Kilda and Collingwood. Of course, you'll hear on ABC Radio. We're all looking forward to seeing Nick Dacos as to how he goes, the newest addition to the Dacos family legacy, following in the footsteps of Peter and joining, of course, in brother Josh. So looking forward to that match taking place. So a few new faces for the Saints with Hayes and Owens, and Ryder, Clark, Billings, Jones and Geary will all be missing. Dacos and Lepiski to take their spots in the selected side. Missing for Collingwood still Roughhead, Hoskin, Elliott and Maynard. Geelong and Essendon at the MCG on Saturday afternoon. So Tyson Stengel gets to make his debut, his third club. So hoping to add some spark to the Geelong forward line. No Mitch Duncan, Sam Menegola, Gary Rowan and Mark O'Connor still missing out. The Bombers, looking forward to seeing Kelly, Baldwin and Martin. No Stringer, Jones, McDonald, Tippenwoody and Snelling. How do you think your Bombers are going to go on Saturday, Rammer? Are you part of the hype?
At least let me get to Saturday.
Okay.
I'm dealing with Sellers and Carlton at the moment. Saturday we'll deal with Essendon.
Okay.
Now, look, I think it looks tough on paper because you look at the players they have out in terms of goals. Jones, Tip and Woody. Yeah, I think you mentioned Snelling there not playing as well, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it tough. But Geelong are missing some good players. Look, I think the expectation is they want to play finals, but they're still developing. They're still developing as a team.
So Jake Stringer hasn't got up for the Bombers, so that's the other big news. The Giants have got some issues as well. They'll be out without Jesse Hogan, who's obviously had his challenges with injuries, and probably the other big one is Nat Fyfe out on Sunday as the Dockers take on Adelaide.
Can't wait for Sydney Derby 23. So, Buddy, 1,000 perhaps. I get the feeling the Sydney Swans would love to get there. Just have it out of the way now.
How far has he got to go?
5 goals. So either you
How many times last year did he kick 5?
That'll test me, but
probably not many. It's difficult these days. So 5 goals. If it happens this week or it happens next week, does it actually matter?
Next week, Friday night against Geelong is the other one. But It will be a huge moment. It won't happen
agree
again.
With you. I agree with you.
I get
Fantastic.
the feeling the Sydney Swans want to just have this out of the way and focus on bigger things
You know
once
what?
that individual milestone is achieved.
I think they'll be happier if they win the game.
Oh, of course. Yeah, for sure. But they've got a debutant to the Swans, Angus Sheldrick, on Saturday. They'll have it at Stadium Australia, which is not a usual Aussie rules venue. We stopped using it a few years ago, but they want to get 60,000+ there for that occasion. Sydney Derby 23. It's become a great rivalry, and that's going to be a beauty on Saturday in the twilight.
On 3 occasions, he kicked more than 5 goals. So
did he 5 times?
5 goals
Okay,
against GWS in round 5 last season. 6 against the Dockers and 6 against the Gold Coast Suns in round 23.
How dare I question him?
He'll do it this week. No Nick Haynes for the Giants either.
No Nick? Okay.
So I reckon he'll do it this week.
So the players are going to make their way back into position. What happens from here? I mean, it's been interesting, the battle between Mitch McGovern, Tom Lynch, how Richmond try and construct their forward line, but it's been the midfield where Carlton were really able to get on top in that second quarter.
I think that would have been priority number 1 for Damien Hardwick and his coaching staff at half time is, okay, how do we even up this midfield battle? Because they really had their way. Hewitt, Kennedy, Cripps in that second quarter. There was no resistance whatsoever. Now, the change here is Liam Baker's going into the middle of the ground. Cochin and Martin are there. So, with Baker in there, they're hoping, obviously, for a little bit more intensity, a little bit more will around the ball for the Tigers. But first and foremost, they just might need to be accountable to their opponent for the first couple of minutes of this quarter.
That's not how they played.
No, but they might have to, sellers.
It's been 10 years since Carlton beat Richmond to start in round 1 of the season, and this is a wonky bounce to start our second
11
half.
in a row we've lost.
Going back to the 2013 elimination final.
That was the Father's Day special.
No Carlton player has won against Richmond as a Carlton player in this current team. There you go. They win the first clearance of the second half. Richmond. Nankervis, good vision as he finds Baker just forward of the centre circles, attacking towards the city end in this third term of the Tigers. Here is Ross. Takes the uncontested mark just forward of halfway. Thumps it deep inside forward 50 into a 2-on-2. Coming in late, O'Brien in from the side. Now Newman parries it towards the boundary. Clever kick up over his shoulder. Bounces clear at defensive 50. Picked up by Arts. Off to the loose man here in Pickett. Hand pass inboard for Nankervis. Back to Marley and Pickett. He's 55 out. Left boot high inside forward 50 now, and it's knocked through by Mitch McGovern on the last line for a minor score. Richmond's first score, the first score of the second half. They are 4-8-32, trailing Carlton 5-9-39. Early stages, third quarter on Grandstand AFL.
Hasn't played a big part here, Jack. He's only had 3 touches. McGovern just punched the ball away quite comfortably there. Outbodied him.
Possession number 10 coming up for Mitch McGovern, going at 89% as he kicks long towards half back in front position. Gibcus couldn't quite take the mark. Did get it to the advantage of Ross, though. Inside the 50, Edwards on his own. Saar just a little bit too loose on that occasion. He marks directly in front, 40 metres out from goal. Can the Tigers strike first early here in this third term?
It was a good option. It was good composure by Ross. He could have easily just bombed that to the goal square where all the numbers were. It just took his time, relaxed, lowered the eyes and found a beautiful kick in Edwards.
Kicked the 8 goals last year, Shane Edwards, featuring in the 16 games. Looking to step up big here. Edwards comes in from 45. It's out to the right and a minor score. Consecutive behinds to start the third quarter. Carlton leading by 1 straight kick. 2 minutes gone, third term. Tim's been in touch in Q on the SMS saying forget the beer or the pie at the G. The lines are uncontrollable.
Newman kicks out the on-defensive 50 here for the Blues. Cripps in the pack, picked up by O'Brien. Works a hand pass forward. Overrun by Marley and Pickett. Gathers now off the deck to Broad. Hurries a kick back inside forward 50. A couple of Carlton teammates for each other. Coming at the back now, Kennedy. Hand pass off to O'Brien. Back to Kennedy. Through traffic to McGowan. Hot potato. Dustin Martin almost picked it off. Arts pounces in as well. And the umpire waits and will ball it up. 60 out again from Richmond's goal. City end. It's Carlton who leads by 6 points. 3 minutes played, third term.
Tossed up, Pitton and Nankervis. Nankervis one down the tap. It ricochets out to Pickett. Hand pass over the top was just a tad too sharp for Edwards. Doherty gathers. Ragdoll as he got his hand pass away. Kennedy's hand pass just a bit too slick for Fisher. Cripps might be able to run onto it. Broke away from the Cochin tackle. Now it looks to chip it over the top. Harry Mackay back with the flight, takes the mark. He had the footy knocked out of his hands and wanted 50 against Broad. It's not paid. He hand passes over the top of Broad to Fisher, who kept running. Low worm burner inside 50. Poor kick looking for Martin. And Rioli, genuflecting, takes the mark in the right back pocket for Richmond.
Work it across, Rioli to Tarrant, former Kangaroo in his club debut. Up the line further still. Gibcus on debut. Floats a hand pass back to Jaden Short. Plenty of space on the southern wing. Has it bounce. Now a second. Looks at the options now. Middle distance kick will work out okay here for the Tigers. Marked by Castagna just forward of halfway. Now comes inboard for Dustin Martin. Dustin Martin still 75 from goal. Assesses the options. Goes deep inside forward 50. Waiting at the back. Lynch kept the feet planted. It came through the fingertips of Kennedy, and Lynch had nothing between he and the goals. Pops in an easy one for the Tigers. We're back level at 5-9-39 apiece. We've played 4.5 minutes in the third quarter on Grandstand AFL. Tom Lynch's second.
Yeah, well, probably just a little bit easy. You don't see Wiedering get beaten that easy in a marking contest. Now, whether he misjudged the ball or there was a little nudge.
Wiedering or McGovern?
Wiedering. That's Wiedering.
Okay.
Yeah.
He got pushed in the back as well.
Yeah. So, but what I think would annoy Michael Voss there is that there was no support coming in there for Wiedering. Good start for the Tigers in this third quarter. Like we said, the Blues were all over him in that second quarter, but a lot stronger start by the Tigers this third quarter.
The Tigers' first goal since the 22-minute mark of the opening term. Back in the middle, Cochin got the clearance. Hand pass looking for Martin. Chera punched it on, got it to half forward for the Blues. Cochin races back after it, regathers the footy. Hand pass down low for Broad. He has enough time to gather. Kicks out to the Great Southern Stand wing side, and Castagna in full stretch takes the mark against Sard. Looks to come inboard. Short pass finds Jaden Short. And where will he go? Once more, not a lot of runs, so kicks it wider still to the boundary. Back to Nathan Broad, who has it. Centre wing on the Great Southern Stand side.
Broad pops it up towards 50. Kennedy floats across. Waiting for it, Ross here for the Tigers. Slaps it further on now. Still alive for Revolt. Hand pass back inboard. Castagna tries to shake a tackle. Snaps here. It'll drop off the chest there of Bolter. Now it comes to Bolter in the right forward pocket from Arts. And he has a flying shot on goal. Misses near side. Misses everything. And it's out of bounds on the full. No change to our score. Carlton 5-9-39. Richmond 5-9-39. We've played 6 minutes in this third term on ABC Grandstand AFL.
As Oscar McDonald's kick in has fallen short, and Pickett takes the intercepting mark. Oh, he's the intended target, caught behind. So Pickett at right half forward, sends Richmond high back into attack. Revolt sets himself, Lynch as well. McDonald with a definitive fist, but only as far as Ross. Hand pass to Castagna over the top to Arts. Broke the tackle initially from Williams, but he might have had contact below the knee. And a rather sloppy defensive effort from Zach Williams, who tried to use his feet to bring down Jake Arts, and is going to be penalised accordingly. Did you think that was there?
Probably.
Yeah. No, absolutely. He tripped it.
Yeah.
So Jake Arts directly in front. Will shoot from about 35 metres out. 18 goals last season. Looking to give the Tigers back the lead. Comes in, able to steer it through. 2 on the trot for the Tigers. They lead by that straight kick. 6-9-45 to the Blues. 5-9-39. 7 minutes gone. Third term on ABC Sport.
Well, they've just taken control, Richmond. They've just actually dominated most of the quarter. They've pushed themselves back into the game. They've got a couple of goals already. It's been an interesting type of setup of what they're trying to do here. They just keep chipping the ball around, going wide, holding it, controlling the ball, continue to actually open space. Then you run into a space and they hit the target again. And seriously, they've manufactured a nice little game style that's got themselves back into this game, and the Blues look a bit confused now.
From the restart, Pitnet and Nankervis. It's been a game of real momentum swings either side of half-time. Second term belonged to Carlton. Richmond finding their way back here. They're in front by a kick. Overrun by Nankervis in the middle. Swept away the hand pass by Hewitt. And now Owies for the Blues. Soft to Chera. Now Kennedy. Inside forward 50. Deep to the pocket at the back. Grimes goes a spoil. Durden roves. Does well. Loses his footing. Shucks his way back inboard now. Straightens a kick up towards the corridor. It's marked by Nankervis.
That's okay. It was really well done.
Richmond can start again.
It's a disciplined kick by Durden. Just no Blues were there.
Pickett short and now Broad. Silvani gives chase at
Great
half
chase.
back. Broad's kick goes up the line now and Wiedering can just punch that into about the fourth row members' side of the ground. Down not far away from Mitch Cleary.
Talking earlier in the game about the crowd for tonight, hoping it would push past 78,000, which would make it the biggest crowd in Australian sport since Anzac Day and post-pandemic. The birdie at halftime told me 71-72 as it sits.
Mitch Cleary down on the boundary. Nankervis wins down the tap, but straight to Cripps of Carlton. Hand pass to Pitnet, now to Kennedy. Got it to Setterfield. It kicks into the middle of the ground. Mark taken by Durden. He looks inside 50. Harry on the lead. He marks directly in front, 45 metres out.
I think we need to force Mitch to give up his sauce inside the MCG.
So Anzac Day last year was the 78,000. The last full house was the 2019 GF, 100,000.
Who told you that?
14.
Mitch, who told you?
As I speak to Rama on numerous occasions during the year, we never reveal sources, Rama.
We're about honesty, Mitch.
So Richmond having taken back the lead in this third quarter. An important kick for Harry Mackay, the Coleman medalist, comes in and gets it. Goal umpire having a good look to the left goal post, but he was able to steer it through. And Mackay kicks his first and scores a level once more. 6-9, 45 apiece through 10 minutes in the third term.
Look, like any football team, but Carlton in particular, they just look so much better when the ball comes back through the middle of the ground. You know, they've got the skillful players to pull the trigger, come back through the middle of the ground, give Harry a chance, give Curnow more of a chance. As soon as that ball comes back through the middle of the ground, Harry Mackay's good enough to find the space to lead into. That occasion, it's just an easy kick. It's a really simple kick. Like, Grimes has got no chance to get there to try to spoil that. So they've just got to pull that trigger more, the Blues. Just, be adventurous with their disposal.
From the restart, back in the middle. Pitnet allowed it to bounce, and now a free kick here for a block. Going to go the Tigers' way, and Soldo from the centre circles. They start to surge forward. The Tigers up inside forward 50 again. Into a big pack, and Bolter goes up in front. Completes the mark, 25 out directly in front. We saw him start in defence, played most of the first half there, and here he is up front, Noah Bolter, with a simple set shot proposition.
There's a fair bit of protection going on there.
Yeah, but that's Oscar McDonald. He goes to the back of that contest, Sellers, where his player goes to the front. He's got to come with him to the front of that contest to spoil. He's trying to spoil from 4 deep.
Kicked 3 goals in the pre-season game against Hawthorn in Devonport. Noah Bolter on the approach and puts the Tigers back ahead. 7-9-51 to Carlton's 6-9-45. We've played 12 minutes in this third quarter on Grandstand AFL.
We talked about the big boys up forward and the movement of how they're going to do this and where they're going to kick it to, and that sort of happened a few times. Lynch has had a couple, Bolter's had one, a couple, and all of a sudden you think, you know what, they're just going to kick it along to that spot and block and move and manoeuvre other players out of the way, and then they take a mark. And that's exactly what happened there.
It's, again, you don't want to harp on it because it's happened, but that's the Liam Jones effect. He probably spoils that ball. Yeah.
Adam Ramanauskas and Mark McClure with you on ABC Sport. Matt Clinch and Brett Spreek calling the action. Mitch Cleary down the boundary. Halftime at Amy Park. Round 2 NRL action. Melbourne Storm leading the South Sydney Rabbitohs 14-0. Back in the middle to Koning in the ruck up against Soldo. Got it down to Cripps. Carlton with the clearance. Kicks long towards Harry Mackay in a wrestle with Tarrant. Tried to crumb it down to Jack Martin running through. Couldn't pick it up cleanly. Kennedy has a go. Could have been dragged down. We're not in possession. He was. And a free kick against Jack Graham. He was just a bit overzealous trying to lay the tackle when Kennedy wasn't in possession.
Yeah. So Kennedy's had plenty. Kennedy's had 22 possessions. This should be 23. I think Graham's gone on to him and said, hang on, I'm going to pull you up. He's going to run with him because he's been a menace for the Tigers.
Kicked a goal in the opening term, Matt Kennedy. So a chance to kick a second here and really stamp his authority in the midfield. That's not a great kick. He leant back on it and it's out to the right. A minor score. Richmond's lead is 5 points at the 13-minute mark of the third term.
He looks fit, Matt Kennedy.
Yeah, he does.
He's got some definition in his arms now, whereas in the past he probably just, not that he was overweight, but his just body didn't look hard. Now it look really hard to play in that midfield full time.
Graham for the Tigers, kicks long beyond defensive 50, 2-on-2. Lynch goes up there, off hands, at the drop, clever hand pass comes from Fisher to O'Brien, dumped in the picket tackle, holding the ball. Tigers free kick from right half back, away they go, again a dicey kick. Williams comes across here for the Blues, punches the ball out towards Wiedering. Bolton lurking here, dangerous, gets away from De Koning, straightens up with a kick, wide to Ross at left half forward, now inside forward 50. Ralph Smith jots back, can't complete the mark. Is there a free kick for a push? Yes.
Has to be.
Going Richmond's way.
You can't go front on.
So that will go against Durden. The contact on Ralph Smith.
I don't blame him for doing it because it was going to be an easy mark without it.
Correct.
45 out and a 45-degree angle, perhaps slightly tougher than that. Hugo Ralph Smith, one of 7 debuts last year for the Tigers. Subbed in for Dion Prestia, who's out with a hammy. That was in the second term. Ralph Smith lays into it here from 45 and sprays it and misses everything to the left-hand side. So no change to our score. It was out of bounds on the full. Richmond 7-9-51. Carlton 6-10-46 midway through this third term on Grandstand AFL.
Zach Williams looks to bring the Blues back into play. He's going to feed a hand pass over the top of Revolt. And Doherty ran his full measure. Revolt almost got him. Got a kick up to the wing. Pitnet the target in front. Short brought it down. Martin with a hand pass forward to Broad. Trying to work it over the top to Ralph Smith. Worked underneath it. And Sard comes up with it for Carlton. Hand pass to Doherty. Hurries a kick around the Great Southern Stand wing. Cripps back with the flight courageously. Short was right there with him. Martin cleverly dribbled in the middle of the ground. Cochin only a moment to dispose of it. Still Carlton with the numbers. Hewitt comes up with it. Hand pass to Pitnet. Works it back to Silvani. Great side step through traffic, looking for Fisher. Just down low to his left, gathers. Bolton off at a good chase. Gets the hand pass to Chera. Pulls his kick inside 50. Was looking for Owies. Couldn't take the mark. The Tigers, Gibcus did well. Knocked it to the advantage of Tarrant, and they're out now through Rioli, who links up with Broad.
Broad, a hand pass off to Ralph Smith, standing still here. Bolton tries to keep it moving. Intercepted by Pitnet. Tackled here by Graham. Ball jars free. Cripps gets there first for the Blues, and now there's a whistle, a very late one.
Free kick again.
It's going to come back here to Richmond and Graham. He was held without the football. Now Ross up the southern wing. In plenty of space, Castagna marks. 65 from goal here for the Tigers. They lead by 5 points. They're all streaming forward down yellow and black jumpers. Deep in the pocket, going up again. Bolter completes the mark right just inside the boundary line. 35 out on the left-hand side.
It's a difficult spot to kick from.
He's going to go back and take a look here. He'll have to cross the boundary line to kick. He'll open up the angle here with a snap on his right boot. Of course, he had the ankle syndesmosis late last year. Noah Bolter played the 14 games for just the 2 goals. Here he is to improve the angle. Brings it back straight over the goal umpire's hat. Noah Bolter's second. He's got a couple in this term. And Richmond out to 11 points. 8-9-57. Carlton 6-10-46. We've played 17 and a half minutes in this third quarter on Grandstand AFL.
Again, the Tigers move the ball, and Noah Bolter found that very simple to do. They're getting becoming experts at kicking around corners and putting those goals through. But it was good ball movement by the Tigers. Started in the middle of the ground. There was a battle on, and they won that, and then they pushed it forward. And then Noah Bolter went wide and then curled it back into for a goal. Really well done.
I much prefer Castagna when he pushes up the ground.
I agree.
As that half forward. Look, he's really hit and miss when he's kicking for goal, but his field kicking is very good.
See, but the Tigers like talls up forward and the moving players in the middle of the ground, which is much better.
But which is different to what we're used to seeing with the Tigers.
I agree.
You know, a lot of the times it's been those smaller type forwards that have kicked the goals for the Tigers.
Adam Ramanauskas and Mark McClure with you on ABC Sport. Nankervis one down the tap against De Koning. Cochin runs onto it for the Tigers. Kicks inside 50. Soldo out on the lead, but great work. Running back Nick Newman takes the mark on his chest. 40 metres out from his defensive goal at the City end. Good kick looking for Silvani, who just couldn't quite take the mark as Ross made contact front on.
How's that? It's a free kick. It has to be.
Officiating umpire saw it your way, Sellers, and he...
If you can't, you got to pay one, you got to pay them all.
Silvani's just a little bit of ginger, might have got a corky right on the thigh. He wants to feed the hand pass forward to McGovern, who gathers. Graham offers chase, kicks long towards half forward. De Koning the target, brought it down to the front. Harry Mackay, good pick up for a big man. Got it to Chera, now to Cripps, trying to get a little kick to Owies. Couldn't get it past Ralph Smith, who got a hand onto it. Feeds the hand pass to Broad for the Tigers. High kick to half-back, where Ross marks on his chest up against the boundary.
Ross plays on quickly, slightly inboard now for Bolton, still on that southern wing. Play on the court was touched off the boot, lays off the hand pass again now to Graham. Thumping ball inside forward 50. Lynch goes up against McDonald, second bite, can't pull it down. McDonald tries again at ground level. Revolt lurking as well. Dustin Martin overruns the football now. Free kick for a hold, and it will go the Tigers' way. McGovern, a bit of remonstration with Jack Revolt. He's in disbelief as well.
Oh, wow.
Jack Revolt's in disbelief.
He's got the ball in hand.
Tug of the jumper as Jack Revolt was on all fours racing after it.
40 out. Goes that little sidestep to open up the angle, and Jack Revolt makes it another Richmond major. 9-9-63. Carlton 6-10-46. The Tigers lead is 17 points, approaching time on third term grandstand AFL.
Well, Sellers, I hope they're not going to call those free kicks all year, because
we got no choice.
Well, we probably don't, but that I don't see anything in that free kick against Mitch McGovern. So that's I think one that the Carlton supporters can be a little bit frustrated at.
Well, you take the good with the bad.
Yeah, of course you do.
And you've got to stand up. But most goals have been kicked at this end.
Correct. Yep.
So Richmond have kicked 5 goals to 1 in this third quarter, after Carlton in the second quarter was able to kick 4 goals to none.
It's 13 goals to the City end of the ground and 2 goals
Not
to
City.
That's City.
Punt,
That's City end.
That's City end. Punt road is the other way, Sellers.
Maybe I'm the other way around.
We'll get your compass, Sellers.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cochin gets the clearance, kicks towards forward for Melbourne.
And it's the
Arts
Otter
comes out, gathers for the Tigers, feeds the hand pass over the top to Graham, kicks inside 50, Bolter with a big fly. Couldn't come down with it. It gets to the back. McDonald with a hand pass to Newman. They keep it alive around the goal line to Zach Williams, who now takes a couple of bounces, charging out of defence. Gets to the defensive 50. Kicks up towards Harry Mackay on the lead. He was able to lose Tarrant in the marking process. Kicks up to Martin in the middle of the centre square. Feeds the hand pass to Hewitt. Had Kerno on the lead. Turns back on his left-hand side. Long kick to Tom De Koning. Can't take the mark. Spoiled away by Grimes. It ricochets off De Koning's boot and goes out of play for a boundary throw in the left forward pocket for the Blues.
Grimes did a really good job there, Grimes.
Richmond by 17. Margin hasn't gone beyond 20 points either way all game. That was their quarter-time lead, the Tigers. And a surge of scoring for Carlton in the second quarter. Umpire tosses it back in. Nankervis down to Bolton in defence. Hand pass off to Cochin at the bootstraps there. It was awkward that time for Graham. Slapped back by Hewitt. Went to ground and wins the free kick. Yeah, he was pushed
by Nankervis.
So it's going to go the way of the Blues. And it was Fisher. He's going to have that ball back with him, just fall to the wing. Hewitt's run up the field now, and he marks this ball from Fisher. 60 from goal at the punt road end. Not to be confused with the City end Sellers. Up it goes to O'Brien inside quarter 50. Spills the mark. Graham here for the Tigers. Off to Edwards. Trying to rebound the football here off half back. And now Castagna under pressure. His kick skirts away here to McGovern. Carlton back the other way. Closest to 50 is McGovern. On the run. Can he finish? He hits the left-hand goal post. That was Carlton's best look for a while. 6-11-47 the Blues. Margin back to 16. Richmond at 9-9-63. 23 gone third term.
There's a golden opportunity after the Tigers have kicked the last 3 goals of the match. Grimes, co-captain alongside Toby Nankervis this season, brings Richmond back into play, short to the right back pocket, and Rioli takes the mark. Looks to send it long towards Noah Bolter. One-on-one with Oscar McDonald. They tangle and it clears there. Rewalt used his body well, got rid of his opponent, couldn't claim the mark, knocked the ball boundary side to Bolter, who feeds the hand pass to Arts. Great chase by Sard, wins the free kick, holding the footy. Just as Richmond looked like they were out.
50 metres again. Another. I think that's their third, isn't it? 50 or fourth.
I think it's fourth.
They're hanging there.
So
they're hanging in just.
Sard will be taken from half back to half forward, with the Tigers leading by 16 points. Sard looks for options inside the 50, sets it long. Silvani's there, Mackay's there, Patrick Cripps is there, can't emerge with it. It trickles out to Pickett. He's ducked in a tackle by Cripps, thrown to the turf. Plenty of feeling from the Carlton co-captain. The umpire will throw it up in the left forward pocket. The Tigers by 16.
Up it goes. And Curvis palms it away. Only to O'Brien, though. Kick smothered. Great desperate act it was from Baker to effect another forward 50 stoppage here. Is Carlton's attacking end. Can they make something of this late in this third quarter? Again, the umpire heaves it back in, and Curvis and De Koning out towards the boundary line. Cripps gets there first, turns a high ball up inside forward 50, top of the square. Can they find a marking target? Ball's at ground level. Jack Martin lays a tackle. The ball's locked in there, and the umpire says, give it to me. 15 out from Carlton's goal. Punt road end. 16 gone in this third term. Again, the umpire wastes no time. Ball in the air. Down to Jack Martin again. Goes the fend off to Kennedy. Further back now for O'Brien. It was an untidy ball. Fisher up against the boundary line now. Good bump from Cochin. And again, the umpire will toss it back in. 25 around from Carlton's goal. Late in this third quarter at the MCG. It's the Tigers who lead by 16 points.
Richmond have kicked 5 goals to 1 in this third quarter. Noah Bolter going forward. He's kicked a couple himself. Now Curvis wins down the tap. Grimes on all fours. Shovels out a hand pass towards Edwards. Had it swatted away from him by Silvani. Fisher tries to spin out of traffic. Couldn't take it. Sard could have been held when not in possession. He becomes the tackler on Rioli, who's taken over the boundary line. All of a sudden there's a bit of feeling with a lot of tight contested footy.
Blues want to try and score. It's close to three-quarter time and they need a score.
26 minutes gone in this third term. Toss back into play. Nankervis and De Koning. Nant got rid of Big Tom and gathered the footy. Kicks long around the members' wing. Wiedering waiting for that kick and takes an intercepting mark.
For the most offensive player on the ground. Now Doherty swings his kick around for McGovern. Still inside the centre square. Gives Carlton the go-ahead inside forward 50. Silvani presents up from full forward and marks in the pocket. No more than 25 out.
They worked that pretty well.
Yeah, now just
move the ball around.
Yeah, but back through the middle of the ground there.
Correct.
Just creates so many more options.
Yep.
Jack Silvani, third generation blue. This a very important kick in the context of this game. Late in the third term to close the gap to 10 points. On the approach, 45-degree angle, and it's straight and true. That'll bring the Carlton fans back to life. Margin is 10. Carlton 7-11-53. Richmond 9-9-63. Couple minutes left in this third quarter on Grandstand AFL.
I don't underestimate Jack Silvani. He's a very great competitor, I call him. Chases, tackles, does all the hard things. And then when he has to stand there in front of everybody, take a mark, kick the goal, all those little things. He doesn't score a lot, but gee whiz, he's a great player to play with. And you watch him, and they love him. He chases, tackles, does all the hard things. It's about time we saw him get a nice easy goal and a good mark to them. Good movement, and it came from McGovern. Moved it in the middle of the ground, and then all of a sudden McGovern kicked a beautiful kick, and Jack was perfect.
He just competes, Jack Silvani, whether it's in the air or at the ground.
He's
against
fantastic.
A bigger or taller opponent. Carlton pull it back to a 10-point lead Richmond's way. Nankervis wins down the tap. It ricochets back to Pitnet, though. Hewitt with the hand pass to Doherty, who came off half-back, and then the hand pass to Kennedy. Kicks inside the 50. Harry Mackay comes out in the lead. Front and centre Fisher. Hand pass to Charlie Curnow. Squeeze the kick towards the goal mouth, and it's through for a minor score. Missing to the right. Goal umpire almost became collateral damage as De Koning and Grimes wrestled. Richmond by 9 points.
Up the corridor quickly, Grimes finds Tarrant.
Need a lift from Charlie Curnow. He's had one possession this quarter only. He's only had a few for the game.
Tarrant on the 45. It was a big kick here for Soldo. Beaten to it though, O'Brien. Spun around here in the tackle. Hand pass goes straight over the boundary line. It was Pickett all over him. So we'll throw it back in front of the Richmond bench between wing and half forward at Carlton's attacking end of the ground. 9 points is Richmond's lead. Back in it comes. Pitnet playing in front. Out to Kennedy. Dumped here by Nankervis on the follow-up. Still alive here for Doherty. Spirals a high ball inside forward 50. 2-on-2 underneath it here. Mackay. Out the drop. Fisher on the half volley. Clean pick-up. Hand pass wasted though. Comes out to Arts. He's tackled. Dispossessed. Ball now in the centre square. Knocked back here by Kennedy to Hewitt. Doherty. Carlton jumpers all around here. Sard back with the flight. On the bouncing footy does well. On the wing. Hand pass out into space. O'Brien has to go and get the footy though. Now has to get away from Pickett. Can't do so. Finds the salvation of the boundary line. The umpire says let's throw it back in. And we'll do that not far away from you, Mitch Cleary.
Just to watch on how Richmond's midfield and how deep they bat in this heading into this last quarter. You know, Presti is subbed out with a hamstring. Jack Graham, limited preparation. He's only played 60% of the game. And Jack Ross has just had a couple of painkillers for a knock to his ribs.
Richmond by 9 points, cleared both rucks. Edwards onto it, hand pass to Baker through the middle. Castagna trying to get it back to Baker, did so. Ralph Smith charging through the middle of the ground. He's run a long way, gets to 50, kicks towards Martin, couldn't find him. And Oscar McDonald takes the intercepting mark for the Blues. They had the extra in defence.
That was 30 metres.
It did seem a long way.
Seriously.
Out to Wiedering at right half back. He kicks towards Owie. He's had it spoiled away from him by Rioli. Bolton couldn't take it cleanly. Baker tackled when he didn't have the footy. And the Tigers will take it in the middle of the MCG. Chera's tackle just lingered.
Go inside forward 50 through Baker. Dustin Martin in the contest. Can't finish it off. Cochrane coming through as well. Now a free kick. And it will go Richmond's way.
Yeah. But it's the Dustin Martin effect. Yeah. Inside forward 50, you're petrified of what he's going to do. So Zach Williams there just wraps his arm around Dustin Martin to keep him away from that contact. It's a free kick. You can't wrap your arms around your opponent and expect to get away with it. But that's the effect that Dustin Martin has when he goes inside forward 50.
Dustin Martin, the Brownlow medalist, 4-time All-Australian, kidney injury last season. Important to kick this one for the Tigers. He just squeezes it home. Waiting the third term to bring the ascendancy back the Tigers' way. 15-point lead their way. 10-9-69 Richmond. Carlton 7-12-54. In the dying seconds of this third term on Grandstand AFL.
Well, that's their third goal for the quarter. And Dusty Martin is a dangerous player. He holds his feet. He's dangerous up forward. He manoeuvres and never falls over. And that's the big danger with him. And when he gets in front, he's strong and he holds his ground. And that was the difference. I have no problem with what happened with the free kick because you've got to do everything you can to try and stop the ball get in his hands. But he's a start.
So the Tigers with a 6-2 third quarter. And they'll head into the final break leading by 15 points. After the Blues are able to take the lead in the second quarter. Leading by 8 points. Bounce back in the middle. De Koning one down the tap. Edwards couldn't take it. Chera gets the hand pass away to Kennedy. Kicks across his body towards Owies at half forward. Ball clears him and Short racing back after it. As the siren it sounds for three-quarter time. The Carlton fans are vocal. They're hopeful that tonight might be the night that they break their 10-year round one opening drought. But it's the Tigers who lead at three-quarter time. 10-9-69 to the Blues 7-12-54. Richmond by 15 points. For the Tigers, 2 goals to Bolton, to Lynch, while individuals to Martin, Baker, Revolt, Arts. Meanwhile, for the Blues, 2 goals to Patrick Cripps, individuals to Silvani, Kennedy, Mackay, Doherty and Durden. Three-quarter time at the MCG. It's the Tigers leading by 15 points on Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio and ABC Sport.
New from ABC iView and ABC TV.
I killed 2 people last night after I tried really hard not to.
Okay, well that's not ideal.
The award-winning
twisted cat and mouse dark comedy thriller is back.
You shot someone.
In the hand.
Killing Eve, the finale season.
So what game are you playing?
Log in to stream new eps weekly on ABC iView and watch Sunday nights from 9:30 on ABC TV.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season. Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Mr. Martin, still 75 from goal. Assesses the options. Goes deep inside forward 50. Waiting at the back. Lynch kept the feet planted. It came through the fingertips of Kennedy. And Lynch had nothing between he and the goals. Popped in an easy one for the Tigers. Castagna Mark, 65 from goal here for the Tigers. They lead by 5 points. They're all streaming forward now, yellow and black jumpers. Deep in the pocket, going up again. Bolter completes the mark right just inside the boundary line. 35 out on the left-hand side. Here he is to improve the angle. Brings it back straight over the goal umpire's hat. Noah Bolter's second. Doherty swings his kick around from McGovern. Still inside the centre square. Gives Carlton the go-ahead inside forward 50. Silvani presents up from full forward and marks in the pocket. No more than 25 out. On the approach, 45-degree angle. And it's straight and true.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Thursday night footy from the MCG. The Tigers leading by 15 points, 10-9-69 to the Blues, 7-12-54. Matt Clinch and Brett Spreek calling the action. Mark McClure and Adam Ramanauskas, your experts. Mitch Cleary down the boundary. Paddy Cripps has had his challenges with his jumper and trying to break through tackles.
Just a quirky moment at three-quarter time down here, Clinchy. We know he's already had the one jumper change. The Carlton Footy Club tried for a second, brought number 33 out there. They said to Paddy Cripps, here's the jumper. He had one look at it and shook his head and said, no, I'm not getting out of the number 9. So he's going to continue on in this last quarter with a rip number 9, but he didn't want a bar of changing over into number 33.
All right, thanks, Mitch. Dion Prestia subbed out of the match in the early stages of the second quarter with a hamstring injury. The Blues yet to use their medical substitution with Tom Williamson on the bench. The thoughts of Adam Ramanauskas and Mark McClure with you on ABC Sport.
I think the big concern for Carlton going into this last quarter is Richmond's forwards now. That quarter, Bolter kicks 2 goals. Rewalt's able to get his hands on the ball. Lynch is able to get his hands on the ball. 15 inside 50s for 6 goals too in that third quarter. So more than 50% going inside forward 50. Richmond are scoring. That's a big number. So Carlton have got to look to lock that down. Now that comes back to the midfield. So not allowing that ball to come in quick, not allowing that ball to come in easy. We saw a number of occasions in that quarter. Pickett overlap run, Ralph Smith overlap run, Rioli overlap run. So that's Carlton's forwards pushing up, sliding up into the middle of the ground and not just allowing that easy handball received. The Tigers, they looked dusted at halftime. They looked all at sea. They looked tired. Carlton looked stronger, fitter, faster. But to their credit, they fixed up the midfield. They slowed down Hewitt. They slowed down Chera. They slowed down Paddy Cripps in that quarter. Liam Baker goes into the middle of the ground. He's lively. He gets around a contest. He's active around a contest. He lays a tackle, gets an arm in there. A little boot to get the ball going forward. So that was a nice little change there for the Tigers. The Blues, on the other hand, it looked tricky that quarter. It looked tough for them again, similar to the first quarter. It's been very much, I know this will sound weird, but a game of 3 quarters. Richmond very good in the first quarter. Carlton very good in the second quarter. Richmond very good in the third quarter.
It's interesting because it's all the scorings at one end.
Yeah.
And
the city end, that is.
I don't know which end it is. I don't care what end it is.
So you're right.
It's to the right. Anyway, but to me, look, I've enjoyed the game. I think it's been a good contest. It's been a good battle. I think that the Tigers are a little bit more organised than the Blues are with the way they move. And I love the way that they have so many tools in their forward line. They push them deep and make it difficult for the defenders to actually go against them. And you put Dusty up there as well, makes it even worse.
I think what the Blues need in this last quarter, they need a big quarter from Adam Sard. He's only had 11 possessions for the game. He needs to really run. He needs to create some excitement, Sellers.
Charlie Curnow needs a bit of work too.
Yeah.
He's only had 3 or 4 possessions.
He's had 6 and only the one behind. So I think if Sard and Curnow can get involved in this game in the last quarter for the Blues, will go a long way to helping them get back in it and win the game.
The Noah Bolton switch has been a great call from Damien Hardwick in the third quarter, and that's going to be the luxury. If they're on top in the midfield, then they can make that change in their back half.
It was Soldo who was playing as a key forward, but what they did in that third quarter, rather than swapping Nankervis and Soldo forward, it was just simple swaps off the bench.
Blues about 42 inside 50s to 38 and still haven't got the score on the board because of their organisation going forward.
19 scoring shots apiece. So, look, 15 points. It's not a big margin in football today.
Richmond by 15 points as we head into the final term. Pitnet takes it out of the ruck, gets the first clearance for the Blues with a hand pass to Chera, kicks to Jack Martin who comes charging out. He marks right on 50, wants to go short. Here's Charlie Curnow on cue. Left forward pocket, he'll kick from 40 metres out.
He's a highly talented player, this kid. Been injured most of his career.
He has. He had that big breakout year. And after that, it's just been that knee that's really caused him so many issues.
Carlton's tried to be so patient with Charlie Curnow. Can he deliver his best? Here he comes in. Misses to the left-hand side. It was left all the way. The Tigers lead by 14 points. Mitch Cleary on the boundary.
The weather down here, it's dropped really considerably in the last 5-10 minutes, and it's a swirly breeze picked up through three-quarter time. So it'll be interesting to see how the skills adapt in this final term.
On your Mitch, short pumps along beyond defensive 50. Strong grab taken by Weaving on the wing. He's come down heavy as well. He's not going to take his kick. He's still just helped to his feet by his teammate Zach Williams.
Is it cramp?
No, he's up.
No, he's up now. He's going to get the footy back. He'll kick after.
He landed awkwardly.
Just thought of halfway. He's got Doherty circling him. Gives off the hand pass. Here is the co-captain on his comeback. Up inside 50. Pitnet, big pack grab. Now Curnow's kick smothered. Still alive here. Cochin sprinting through traffic now. Owies, hand pass out here for the Blues.
Still
tries
going.
to follow up. He's beaten by Dustin Martin. Just picked his pocket. Great work, Dusty. Get through the traffic. Kicks beyond defensive 50. Out towards that one-on-one. And now Wiedering is back down, holding his right ankle on the outer side.
No, he fell over in his own weight.
Did he?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the ball is locked in on the back edge of the square. Umpire's letting it go for the time being. Chera's hand pass out here, only as far as Nankervis for the Tigers. Dustin Martin works his kick around the corner. It'll sit up on the bounce for Ross on the half-back flank.
Wiedering still out there but not looking very good on that right ankle. Here's a chance for Broad. Comes up with a footy for Richmond. Feeds the hand pass boundary side to Ross. Kicks towards Rewalt. Out half forward with Lynch there as well. McGovern the meat and the sandwich. Hand pass comes out to Bolton. Inside the 50. Got it from Edwards. Shea Bolton for his third. He's got it. The Tigers with the first goal in the final term to extend their lead out to 20 points. 11-9-75 to the Blues. 7-13-55. 2 minutes gone, final term. Mitch Cleary on the boundary.
Jacob Wiedering hobbling off with that ankle concern. Their sub, Tom Williamson, warming up along down the boundary.
I'm pretty certain that Wiedering fell over on his own weight. He grabbed that ankle as soon as he fell over. Now, I'm waiting for a replay on our screens here, but it didn't look like he was with Tom Lynch. It didn't look like to me Tom Lynch did anything.
No, he did hurt it. He hurt himself.
He hurt it in the marking contest.
And then when he tried to put some stress on it, down he went.
Yeah. So that's a concern for the Blues, because Richmond have really stretched them in this second half with their taller forward since Noah Bolter's moved forward.
Equal game high, 20-point lead. That was Richmond's quarter-time lead. They're in control of things here. Chera tackled by Nankervis. The ball goes with him, and the umpire says that's balled up. 11-9 plays 7-13. Great to have your company on Grandstand AFL through ABC Sport. Tap to the outside here. Nankervis only as far as Doherty. Chera again through congestion. Inside forward 50. Curnow had it stolen away from him by Tarrant, the experienced defender and former Kangaroo. On the bounce, O'Brien gets it back here for the Blues. Inside 50, Grimes floats across Mackay and takes the intercept mark at right full back.
Dylan Grimes looks at options, decides to go short, and the mark is taken by Jack Graham. Still in the right back pocket for the Tigers. Looks to now drive it long by foot up to the Great Southern Stand wing. Nankervis the target. Pitnet from behind punches it down. O'Brien couldn't gather. Edwards slides in, locks the footy underneath him. The umpire circles and will ball it up. Just short of half forward for the Blues under the Great Southern Stand, which will be renamed to the Shane Warne Stand. As the umpire tosses it up, Nankervis tries to take it out of the ruck. Hand pass straight to Chera, though, the Blues. Kicks inside 50. Grimes got a hand to it. Durden races after it. Gathers for Carlton inside 50. Little worm burner looking for Silvani, too low. Couldn't pick it up. Owies over the footy. Rioli slips in, won it. Hand pass to Owies. He gets the hand pass away. Bouncing shot. Durden's got his second. He's able to bounce it end over end from the top of the goal square. Carlton makes something out of nothing, really, just continually asking the question. And Corey Durden was able to come up with a goal. Richmond's lead back to 14 points, 11-9-75 to the Blues, 8-13-61.
Well, it's good to see they battled away, that nothing went their way, the bounce of the ball, it was all over the place, and all of a sudden Durden just picks it up in a little chip pass straight through the middle of the goals. But it ran from 45 metres with no one in control of the ball, so it was a very unusual play. But the Blues needed a goal. They have for some time. And that'll get them back in with a bit of spirit.
That's what we haven't seen for a long time from the Blues, that forward pressure from smaller players. So that was their three smalls there that are applying that pressure.
Mitch Cleary on the boundary.
Right boot off for Jacob Wiedering. They're strapping an already heavily strapped ankle. They're going to run through the whole tape of this elastoplast, I think. But I think they're going to give it a go and try and get him back out there. The boot is going to go on shortly.
He looked very uncomfortable, Jacob Wiedering, from the restart here. So Hewitt hand pass to Cripps, dumped it in an Nankervis tackle. Umpire lets them play for a moment, now finds a free kick. The play being legged, it's going to go the way of, this is a 50 now. Because there was
another 50.
I think Graham wasn't quite sure where, well,
he thought it was
he's sort of
teammates.
feigning, he's not sure where the free kick was going. It's going to go Carlton's way.
If they lose this game, he'll be certain what he was doing.
So it's going to go the way of Hewitt.
Seriously.
The ball didn't come back to him, so Graham penalised for the 50. And Hewitt now, inside his range here, he's only 30 out directly in front by the time he kicks. His first game as a Blue after 120 games, 6 seasons in the Harbour City with the Swans. Hewitt to make it back-to-back Carlton goals. And this game has burst back to life. Carlton 9-13-67. Richmond 11-9-75. The margin is just 8. 7 going final term. Grandstand AFL from the MCG.
That's the 5th 50-metre penalty they've given away. The discipline of this Richmond side sometimes would be questioned, and after this game, if they lose this, it'll be horrendous for them. So they've kept themselves in the game, the Blues. There's only about 8 points of difference in this game right now. It's right on the edge. Both sides got a real chance.
Real brain fade from Jack Graham. Thought it was Shane Edwards' free kick. Went to flick it to him. It wasn't. It was Hewitt's free kick for in the back. And the 50-metre penalty, it was hard to argue with. He just wasn't switched on. Carlton back within 2 straight kicks. Cochin tried to get the clearance. His kick was ricocheted off the chest of Hewitt. It falls to Cripps in that rip jumper. Inside 50. Curnow in front. Couldn't mark on his chest. Ball spills clear. Owies is onto it. Tries to get the hand pass away to Durden. Feeds it back. Gets the hand pass to Setterfield. Through traffic to Cripps. Back to Durden. Can he link up here with Kennedy? Dragged down by Pickett. The ball comes clear. The Tigers through Tarrant comes up with a good balance under pressure. And he finds Ross in the right back pocket.
Ross plays on quickly. Kicks straight to Sard though. Flying through the air. Marks it left half forward. Can Carlton make the most of this attacking thrust? Here's Newman. Hewitt, I beg your pardon. Hewitt, 65 from goal. Plays on, hand pass inboard for Sard. 60 now, he gets to the punt at 50.
Perfect kick.
Was pulled short for Paddy Cripps. It was miscued for Adam Sard, but it works out okay. Paddy Cripps marks 40 out on a 45-degree angle.
Well, that slid off the side of his foot perfectly.
He had enough pressure from the chaser, which has affected a very, looked like an ugly kick, but it's worked out okay for Paddy Cripps.
What's wrong with you? It's perfect.
Perfect result for Carlton. Can Paddy Cripps make it more so here? And make it 3 goals in a row. He connects from 42 out. Gets under it. The crowd tells the story. Back to a 2-point game. Carlton 10-13-73. Richmond 11-9-75. 10 going final term. Grandstand AFL.
Well, I actually wanted to be tested. We needed the Blues to get tested by someone, an opposition, and they have been. And all of a sudden, you can just see that there's got some spirit. They've got some fitness. Their fitness levels are high, and they can still motor away in the last quarter against one of the great sides of the competition in the last 5 or 6 years, the Tigers. This is not over. But they put on a display. Did we actually think they could win? Did we actually test them? Yes, we talked about that at the start, Rammer. Who's going to test who? And the Blues are now testing the opposition with their fitness and see how they can go as well.
3 goals for Paddy Cripps, Mitch Cleary on the boundary.
Another boost for the Blues. Jacob Wettering back on the ground. He's been given the all clear with that right ankle.
So Carlton within 2 points here. Pitnet wins down the tap against Soldo. Got it to Cripps once more. Hand pass to Hewitt. Here go the Blues with the clearance. Kennedy receives it inside 50 to Koning. Was proppy as it was kicked to his bootlaces. Great pressure provided as Harry Mackay lays the tackle. Ball spills clear. Comes away abroad for Richmond. Long kick out of defence. Edwards tries to protect the space in front of him. Brought it down to Ross and now to Shea Bolton. Gets the hand pass back. So Ross turns it over. Hand pass intercepted by Hewitt to Cripps to Setterfield. Inside 50, Martin on the lead. He marks on his chest 50 metres out directly in front.
A good play. Really good by Setterfield there.
Super.
Deliver the ball. Now under pressure. Fourth quarter close game. The safe kick is just to go long. The smart kick is to find a target inside forward 50 is good enough to find Martin.
He's had the 9 disposals tonight. Jack Martin, one behind next to his name. Carlton recruited him to try and capitalise on big moments. Sets fly from 50. Good kick. The Blues are in front. The MCG erupts. Carlton make it 4 on the trot and they lead by 4 points. 11-13-79 to the Tigers. 11-9-75. 11 minutes gone. Final term on ABC Sport.
Oh, it's 4 in 6 minutes. Yeah, it's through good ball movement. A little bit of luck with Paddy Cripps' last goal. But the other 3 have been really good ball movement by the Blues. And good kicking at goal. Good accurate kicking at goal for the Blues. That's a terrific finish by Jack Martin. Outside 50. Long. Goes straight over the goal umpire's head. And again, what changes in this game is the midfield dominance. Carlton start dominating through the middle of the ground again.
So 4 goals on the bounce to the Blues. What a game of footy this has been so far. What a finish coming up. To Koning. Through the air, down to Cripps, tackled immediately here by great tackle by Graham. Ball jars free. Hewitt collects now, tumbles it inside forward 50. Sits up on the bounce for Jack Martin, gets away from Gibcus, around the tackle off to Fisher. He can fire on goal from 40. Zach Fisher! Oh, the future is now. 5 in a row for Carlton. They're up by 10 points.
Jack Fisher's goal, but let me tell you, Fisher's goal, but seriously, that the centre bounce clearance, the work from the blokes in the middle of the ground, as Ram has spoken about on many occasions, if you clear the ball inside 50 and put pressure on the opposition and the numbers rolling in, Fisher runs past Zach and finishes it off. But it was all done through midfield and a little bit of work at half forward, bit of space and lots of people running towards the ball, and that's the game. All of a sudden, 10 points in front. Ridiculous, really, when you think about it. They were way down by, I think they were 20 points at one stage, and now they're well in front. That's incredible.
Mitch Cleary on the boundary.
Patrick Cripps just limped off, looks in a lot of pain with a lower right ankle, sort of lower leg injury. Looks like he's going to try and shake it off, but he's grimacing as we speak.
Can the Tigers find a bounce back? Bolter into the ruck against Koning. He gets the clearance for the Blues. Sends it towards 50. Awkward bounce for Short. Tackled by Fisher. Hand pass picked off by Martin. He can't break clear as Short lays the tackle. 55 metres out from Carlton's goal.
They're going to find a clearance, Clinchy. 8-0.
Yeah. 5 goals in this 7 minutes in this Carlton burst.
41 possessions to 26.
To Koning. Down to Kennedy. Squeeze the kick inside 50. Grimes up. Landed awkwardly on his back. He's been paid the mark.
Would have hurt.
He landed right on the middle of his back as he and Silvani tried to wrestle for it. A bit with you, Sellers.
I don't know if that was a mark. But anyway, it doesn't matter. He paid it.
Inside 50s, 13-1 this quarter.
13-1, yeah, I know. It's incredible, isn't it? That midfield battle is such an important thing, isn't it?
Oh, no doubt.
And you wonder why you need more midfielders.
Well, just you need multiple numbers continually going through there.
Grimes, a wobbly kick beyond defensive 50. Bolter, and amongst all of that, can't bring the footy to ground. Sard chose good pace, tackled here and held without it. We'll go Carlton's way. Pickett a little overzealous in the tackle. So Sard just forward of halfway here. And momentum with the Blues. They lead by 10 points. Sard comes back in board now for Doherty on the logo commentary side. Back to Sard. Carlton know they control the game, but we're still a long way from done.
They need more.
Sard kicks for distance up inside forward 50. Kerno in the hole. Grimes up in front, and it's off hands and out of bounds for a throw-in right near the junction of 50. City end of the MCG. Carlton 12-13-85. Richmond 11-9-75. 15 gone final turn.
That was good kick, position and territory. That was what that was about.
Toss back into play. Bolter's into the ruck. He takes it out of the ruck against Taccone. Feeds a hand pass forward into the path of Edwards. Couldn't take it cleanly. Somehow got it to Graham, who was bumped as he got his hand pass forward.
4-on-1.
Carlton had the numbers though. Hewitt gathers. Gets the hand pass back to O'Brien, to Fisher. Through traffic to Chera. Needs to try and get around Martin. He did so. Broke the Martin tackle. Carlton are winning everything at the moment. Long towards Harry Mackay. He's outnumbered. Gibcus in from the side is able to get a punch in there and see it across the boundary line for a throw in deep in the Carlton forward 50.
That's damning for Richmond there. That ball centre wing. 4 Carlton players to the ball first. Only 1 Richmond player chasing.
He's inside 50s now 15-1 this quarter.
Dusty's off.
Blood rule.
Yeah.
Poor old Josh Gibcus on debut is cramping as well, so welcome to the big time.
That's it, mate. You can't handle it, you got to go.
Trying to stretch out his hamstrings off the ball.
I think Dylan Grimes blood rule also.
So he's coming off. Cochin and Curvis back on. So still a fair share of quality Richmond players running around out there. Can they overturn this 10-point deficit in the second half of this final term? Time blown back on. Forward 50 stoppage here for the Blues. 10 points is their lead. Back in it comes. Silvani, the unlikely ruck there. Down towards Kennedy. Spun around the tackle. Setterfield clear a path for Silvani again. Chera, hurried kick up towards the top of the goal square. At the back there, Broad. Also Gibcus. O'Brien taken high. That should be a Carlton free kick. Indeed it will be. Gibcus gave away the free kick.
That's a definite free kick too, the young man.
Richmond's frustration showing. But with this, Lockie O'Brien is well within a strong chance of making it 6 unanswered goals for Carlton. Oh, yeah. Hand around his neck. Free kick every day of the week. And this to make Gibcus and Richmond pay. O'Brien does indeed make it 6 on the trot. Blues are out by 16 as we approach time on. 13-13-91 to the Tigers, 11-9-75 here on Grandstand AFL at the MCG.
You can see what happens to teams when they're under pressure. They make little mistakes, 50-metre penalties, wrap around someone's neck, little things. When you put that into the right spot, the most dangerous position right in front of goals, all of a sudden they do stupid things. And the Tigers have done a couple in this quarter, which have really helped the Blues set up their lead. Doesn't mean they win. Let me tell you, that does not mean it, because there's still 10 minutes to go in this quarter.
If Carlton lose from here, sellers, their fans will tear the MCG down.
Probably. But let me tell you, they still got to keep piling on.
It's going to take something from Richmond.
Well,
54 to 29.
And they've had 29 possessions in 18 and a half minutes of time.
6 goals from 54 disposals. Goodness me, they've been ruthless. Taccone gets the clearance out of the middle of the ground. Kicks Carlton inside 50. Rioli couldn't take the mark. Oh, he's onto it. Hand pass to Kennedy. Had a fumble. Dribbles a kick inside 50.
The tackle.
Tough one for Short. He's jumped to the turf. And the umpire will ball it up 40 metres out from Carlton's goal, where the ball has been permanently locked in this final term.
16-1 inside 50s. Clearance is 11-1 this quarter.
What's it been about this City end in this match so far in the back? Did Kennedy take the advantage? No, it's going to come back, and it's going to be another Carlton shot on goal. Adam Chera He's going to receive the free kick.
small-
Baker fell in his back trying to lay the tackle. Yep, that's there.
I tell you, the small forward tackling from Blues tonight has been superb.
So we've seen a goal from Sam Doherty. We've seen a goal from George Hewitt. Can Adam Chera join the party? Everything that is blue is turning to gold tonight. Chera slightly left of centre. He'll kick from right on 50. The former Docker comes in, strikes it pretty well.
Hits
the post, into the left goal post. Carlton fans running it all the way through to the post. The Blues leading by 17 points.
Had plenty of distance here.
Short works his way around Fisher. Kick out from goal. Outnumbered down there is Arts. Going up high, McGovern. Arts kept his feet, has the footy to shove forward as well. Now Dustin Martin marks on the wing members' side. They're all streaming forward, yellow and black jumpers. Martin goes inside forward 50. Revolt presents and takes a simple overhead mark. 45 out, slightly left of centre. They must take every opportunity, the Tigers.
Still plenty of time. Plenty of time left in this game. It's a must kick. Is there another twist to this game?
Jack Revolt, third on their all-time games list at the Tigers. He'll pass Jack Dyer in the next couple of months as he lets fly from 50. It's offline to the right-hand side for a minor score. Margin is now back to 16. 21 going final term.
6 disposals tonight for Jack Revolt, 1 goal, 2. We'll go down to Mitch Cleary in a moment. Mitch McGovern's come from the field as well. Mitch, I'm not sure if you saw that.
Yeah, he's the last player Carlton probably want to see hobbling off at this stage of the game, but he's just walking up and down the boundary line right now with the physio. Doesn't look too distressed. I'll keep you posted.
Sards long kick out of defence, a sport out of play for the Tigers. So they lock the ball inside their forward half. A throw in at left half forward for the Tigers, who trail by 16 points. After Carlton have got on a roll in this final term. Kicking 6 goals to 1 from the throw-in. Kennedy tries to scrap for it. Can't break clear. Short on the bottom of the pack. Eventually the ball does spill clear. Fisher trying to knock it to his own advantage. Spinning on top of the footy.
Ball it up,
Chera gets underneath. The free kick in the back. Umpire blows the whistle. And 50.
Another 50.
That's it. That one's undisciplined. Because that's abuse.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be in the way.
He's going to be
another
50.
50.
Because it's going to be 100. Had to step out of the way as the 50-metre penalty was being paid. Trying to backpedal.
How many's Graham done on this? I think he's done 3 or 4.
That's his third.
Yeah, I know. It's unbelievable.
So Adam Chera, who couldn't capitalise a few moments ago from just inside 50, he's now just 15 metres out, pretty much directly in front. And a string of undisciplined moments from the Tigers is going to cost the ultimate price. Chera coming in, looking to make it 7 goals in the final term. The new blue strikes. And Carlton are out by 22 points. 22 minutes gone in the final term. They'll be hard to catch now. 14-14, 98 to the Tigers, 11-10, 76. 23 minutes gone, final term on Grandstand AFL.
Well, I haven't seen the hustle from Carlton in the last few years that I've seen tonight. The hustle and the bustle, and they want to get into those packs and really put their head down and work hard. And that comes from having a really fit and tough, strong side and a ruthless attitude. Haven't seen that before for a long, long time, but tonight they've actually worn the Tigers down. They've worked them, they've outworked them, they've worn them over, they just run over the top of them, and they're much more fitter and more powerful than I've seen before.
Voice of Mark McClure on Grandstand AFL. 7 in a row for Carlton by way of goals. Cripps with the clearance on hands and knees. Bunded out towards Pitt, out around the football. Baker, the much smaller man, lays a tackle, and Pickett helps out as well, but will ball up front edge of the square. Carlton's attacking end. Down to you, Mitch Cleary.
Rammer, that little birdie was on the money. 72,179 people tonight.
Mitch as Short is dumping a big tackle. Jack
Another
Martin
holding
rewarded.
the ball.
Jack Martin was all over him, and the tackler is rewarded, so he's 60 out, directly in front. No angle to speak of. The distance will test him.
Go the torp.
We saw him kick one from almost similar a short time ago. Off a bit of a step this time, deep towards the pocket, and Grimes helps it over the boundary line for a throw-in. Deep in Carlton's attack at the City end. They lead by a game-high 22 points, 25 minutes gone in the final term.
Another front half, small forward tackle.
Toss back into play. Nankervis against De Koning. Nankervis taps it to the front, trying to get it to Pickett. Dived on top of the footy. Got it away from Kennedy, but contact below the knees. Not sure there was that much contact, but he did dive in.
Got a big game, Matty Kennedy.
Huge game.
Yeah, there was contact, to be fair. Took the leg out of Matt Kennedy. So the right call from the umpire there on spot.
Coming up for possession 33. 1 goal, 14 contested, 7 clearances.
Where's he going to kick it to?
Kennedy snaps across his body, misses to the right-hand side. 1-2 for Matt Kennedy. The Blues by 23 points.
There's still just 6 and a bit minutes to go.
What point are you safe, Sellers?
About
siren.
Yeah. Ralph Smith drives it long beyond defensive 50. Working his way through there. Baker receives a hand pass up the southern wing. Dustin Martin's in space. Williams alongside him gets to him now, but Martin brings his kick in board now. Good vision for Baker, who slips over around Wiedering. Wiedering has a tackle. That will be holding the ball. Showing no signs of distress there, Jacob Wiedering, despite the earlier ankle complaint. A good tackle results in a Carlton free kick, and now Wiedering just goes short to Sard at left half-back. I think they think they're safe as Doherty marks here and gets an loud cheer as well. Sam Doherty. A standing ovation for the Carlton co-captain. 12 weeks of chemotherapy for the most recent off-season. He kicked a goal, which is a special moment tonight. And the Carlton fans showing their appreciation as well as the ball finds its way out of bounds in front of the Great Southern Stand. So 23 points is Carlton's lead. 27 gone in the final term here at the MCG. Matt Clinch.
Ball tossed back into play on the Great Southern Stand. Pitnet sets himself behind Nankervis. Nankervis one down the tap, but again it's all Carlton. Chera with a hand pass to Cripps. Back to Silvani. His kick is too wide. And Tarrant claims the mark right on the boundary line. Robbie Tarrant looks to drive the Tigers towards half forward. Tough one though for Ross, who flew. In fact, it was Castagna, couldn't quite take the mark. Silvani emerges with it for the Blues. Hand pass around the boundary line on the southern side. Rolls out in front of Sam Doherty. And a boundary throw in.
You look what could come back in for the Tigers. Vlosten, maybe Caddy. I know Lambert's injured. McIntosh, Sydney Stack. It's not too many players that the Tigers can call upon.
Off the deck, Chera finds Cripps, dispossessed, and a big Edwards tackle. Ball jars free on the outer wing, picked up now by Hewitt. In his first game for the Blues, Jack Martin off to Williams, spreads it wide now for Silvani, and again they'll just settle things down. Carlton players in control of things here. 23 points is the margin their way. Silvani tracks all the way back to Newman at left half back.
He goes short to Silvani, who marks at left half back. So Silvani will be happy to just kick long down the line. No, Sard runs into space. And they have round had tonight, Carlton. Richmond have had their moments where...
Look, that's actually their walking round.
Yeah, Bolton didn't offer any chase, so Sard just trotted forward, took a bounce, and then chips it over the top to Chera.
Why aren't they going for percentage?
I think you can be happy with Adam Chera's opening night for the Blues.
He had a great night.
29 possessions and a goal.
And plenty of tackles. That's what I like.
6 inside 50s, 4 clearances.
Huge.
Back to Nick Newman, who takes the mark at half-back. He returns it to Adam Sard on the Great Southern Stand wing. So the Blues are really toying with them now. He's able to sidestep around Ross, the man on the mark, and drive Carlton into attack once more. Mackay's there, Pitnet's there, spoiled away from them. Front and centre, Ralph Smith gathers for the Tigers. Hand pass to Ross, gets it to Baker. His kick is too wide for Castagna.
I think the beauty
will take it back.
The beauty of this win is Mackay And Curnow haven't had big nights at all. The Carlton have still been able to... Well, they're a point away from 100 points.
And Newman kicks back in to a contest inside 50. Cripps a juggle, can't reel it in. Chera spun around the Baker tackle. It comes to Sard now. Around the corner from Ralph Smith. And now inside forward 50. Reaching at the back to Koning. Arts tracks it defensively here. Jack Martin, loose football. A free kick's going to go Richmond's way. And it will go the way of Arts, who was held by O'Brien or copped a push. Either way, same result. Richmond free kick from full back. It's the Blues who are in control here to the tune of 23 points.
Broad takes the mark from the short pass from Arts and drives Richmond out of defence up to the Great Southern stand wing. Tough one for Ross, who has to spoil it away from Newman. Wiedering back on the field, does well, got it back to Newman, who chips it short. Pitnet takes the mark on the wing. Carlton by 23 points. 14-15-99 to the Tigers, 11-10-76. Long kick towards half forward. At the front of the pack, Martin. Free kick going Carlton's way. De Koning was taken out of the marking contest illegally. Grimes went early and had hands on his shoulders. And Tom De Koning, who's been a little bit quiet tonight, just the 8 disposals, has had a couple of shots on goal for a couple of behinds. He'll get a chance to set flight from outside 50, and the way Carlton have played this final term, you wouldn't put it beyond him. Takes his full 30 seconds. Tom De Koning out to the left, fires from outside 50. It's across the face. Mackay's got a couple to compete against, and it's not through for a minor score. Carlton leading by 24 points.
Tigers chip it away here from the kick out. Short to Pickett. Launches it beyond defensive 50. Up goes Castagna. Outnumbered here by Carlton jumpers. Sard loading, does well. Second bounce up the boundary line. Pulls his kick inside forward 50.
Great work.
Completes the mark. 35 out, slightly to the left.
He's been good in this last quarter, Adam Sard.
Oh, terrific, mate.
Called for a big effort for him at three-quarter time. He's had 10 possessions, 10 of those kicks. They've all hit the target. He's had 4 inside 50s, 5 marks. Been very, very good in this last quarter. Chera's had 12 in this quarter and a goal. Cripps has had 9 and a goal. Hewitt, 9 and a goal.
No score as yet for Matthew Owies. It is to make it 8 Carlton goals and put the exclamation point on a round 1 win. He misses to the left-hand side. Either way, it won't affect the result, but 25 points is Carlton's lead over Richmond. Very late here at the MCG.
Tigers bring him back into play. Broad out of defence. Kick looking for Arts. One-on-one with Setterfield. Setterfield over the footy now. Broad trying to get it over the boundary line. He does so. And a throw in at right half forward for the Blues.
So he said that no Carlton player has ever beaten Richmond. So George Hewitt never beaten Richmond.
No, as a Carlton player, I think is the right one.
Okay. I was going to say, I'm sure Sydney have beaten Richmond at some stage.
I assume that's the stat, but anyway.
From the throw in, Bolton at half back, kick partially smothered. Williams comes up with it. Setterfield kicks a high up and under kick towards half forward, spoiled away from Cochin. Setterfield now back over the footy. Can't quite knock it clear. Nankervis kicks it up to the members' wing. Martin can't take it. Bolton can. Martin has another go at it. Williams over the footy. The siren sounds. The Blues at last beat Richmond in an opening round contest. And all those who were reluctant to get on the Michael Voss new era, they'll be on board tonight. After 11 straight losses, the Blues defeat Carlton, and the Blues defeat Richmond by 25 points.
Navy Blues, we're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. We're all the champions they like to send up. We'll keep our end up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous Old Dark Blues.
Carlton 14-17-101 defeat Richmond 11-10-76 in front of 72,179 fans at the MCG. It was the Tigers who led by 20 points at quarter time. The Blues with 4 goals to none in the second term to open up an 8-point advantage before the Tigers roared back with 6 goals to 2 to lead by 15 at three-quarter time, and then 7 goals to 1 in the final term as the Blues record a 25-point victory.
We are the Navy Blues. We are the old dark Navy Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. We're all the champions they like to send up. We'll keep our end up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous old dark Blues.
For the Blues, 3 goals to Patrick Cripps, 2 goals to Corey Durden. The individuals to Savani, O'Brien, Chera, Kennedy, Mackay, Doherty, Martin, Fisher and Hewitt. Meanwhile for the Tigers, 3 goals to Shea Bolton, 2 goals to Bolter and to Lynch. Individuals to Martin, Baker, Revolt and Arts. The Blues, having not beaten the Tigers since 2012, they're finally victorious tonight on a Thursday night to open season 2022. The thoughts of Mark McClure and Adam Ramanauskas.
Well, no one beats us 12 times in a row. They might have got us 11, but the 12th, they worked it out. Actually, they were fantastic tonight. It's a whole change in the way they play. They didn't panic at any stage. They were down 20 points at some points of the game, but they just kept at it. And you can tell that their fitness levels were massive because in the last quarter, Richmond had no possessions at all, no inside 50s at all. They were like, I think inside 50s was 17-2 in the last quarter. That is a flogging of the highest order of a side who's won 3 premierships in the last 5 or 6 years. This is incredible. The possessions were 92-55 in the last quarter. They were out in their feet, and the Blues kept powering over them. It's about want to win. It's about enjoying a win, and it's about playing for each other. And I think I've seen that tonight from a football club who has been in the wilderness for some time. If you're a Carlton supporter, you would be proud. You'd be proud of a lot of the things that they've done. Michael Voss has instilled something into this mob, although they should instill it to themselves, because it's about your pride and what you do and what you want to do. And tonight, I'm a very proud Carlton supporter and a very proud bunch of people out there as well who should be thinking about this club, saying that was absolutely fantastic.
I think what Carlton went out and chased over an off-season in that midfield depth really stood up tonight. You look at Chera's game, he's had 30 possessions and a goal in his first game for Carlton. 19 handball receives, 6 clearances, 7 inside 50s. George Hewitt, 28 possessions, 6 inside 50s, 4 clearances and a goal. Adding depth to their midfield. If they don't have those 2 players in their midfield tonight, they look like Richmond's midfield. Prestia goes down.
They're done.
And it feels like that's going to be Richmond's Achilles heel throughout the year. Have they got enough numbers to go through the middle of the ground? Carlton got to add Sam Walsh back into the middle of that ground. So now they've got they've got options. They've got a lot of options. They can keep the pressure. They can keep the speed on the ball. I loved the fact that Richmond got out to 2 20-point leads throughout the game, first quarter, third quarter, but Carlton were able to respond. That shows maturity. In past years, Carlton would have easily rolled over and let it be a 8-10 goal victory to the Tigers. But this is what I've been talking about the Blues with those players that you mentioned, that I mentioned at the start of the game. Sard had a really big last quarter. Setterfield, better. Zach Fisher, better. McGovern looked really comfortable playing as a key defender. Jack Martin kicked a critical goal in that last quarter. So, yep, okay, Cripps had a terrific game. Matty Kennedy had a terrific game, but they got contributions from others.
Yeah, everyone gave a little bit. That's all you need to do.
That's important because you can build on that.
And
you
you know
can
what?
continue to build on that.
And you love playing with blokes who do that.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the best player.
No.
You just got to be the best contributor.
As he touched on, Shea Bolton kicked the first goal of the final term. Richmond got out by 20 points, and then it was the way in which Carlton was able to score 5 goals in 7 minutes. And then when you look at the stats at the end of the game, Carlton plus 38 contested possessions, plus 18 clearances, plus 24 inside 50s, and tackles inside 50 were 14-1. So the more you looked at it, the more it was, a lopsided final term, which there'll be a lot of questions around Richmond as much as Carlton will be rejoicing.
You look at overall, Richmond had 32 tackles for the game.
They're on the slide.
They've had 22 clearances to 40. Inside 50s, 40 to 64.
They got flogged in every department.
So the reality is the scoreboard's probably flattered the Tigers a little bit.
Maybe their accuracy was pretty good at the start. That was it.
I think the biggest concern coming away from that game from Damien Hardwick is, what do I do with my midfield? What's my mix now that Presti has gone out of that game? Now, hopefully, it's only a short injury for him, but history suggests that it will be 4 to 6 weeks if it's a hamstring for Dion Prestia.
For me, the worry was probably at selection. They only chose one youth to come and play this game, okay? And they haven't. And I mean, they're not going to win the premiership. They didn't want to win it last year. They're not going to win it this year either.
Be careful.
I'm telling you,
we said that when Rance did his knee in round one a few years ago.
I don't care. They can't win because they're just playing the same ones over and over again. And they got rolled over with fitness. They just got blown away with the power of run.
Sellers, you did playfully say that no one beats Carlton 12 times in a row. I'm sorry to say, Hawthorn beat them 14 times in a row up until a few years ago.
I don't even rate them. I don't rate them. They're not even. You've got to understand the hatred between Richmond and Carlton. And then Collingwood, and then there's Essendon.
So I just want to finish on the Tigers here. So Prestia goes off the ground. I think, what was it, midway through the third quarter, second quarter?
Second quarter.
Ralph Smith comes on. Now, it's not like for like. Ralph Smith's not an inside midfielder. He's more of a running type of player. They have to bring Liam Baker into the middle of the ground. That worked for a short period of time, and then he was overwhelmed. You look what's to come into the side. Vlosten, a defender. Caddy, more of a forward. Lambert is a while away, more of a half forward. McIntosh, a winger. Sydney Stack, a defender. There's not guys that you can go, okay, that's instantly replaceable. So Damien Hardwick's now going to have to mix and match what he's got and try and work out, okay, what's the best mix of midfielders so I can create some depth.
So tell me how many kids they've got that are actually worthy to get a game in this.
Well, I think they've got to try Collier Dawkins. He was a high draft pick for them. But then you're sort of looking at it and you go, oh, I'm not 100% sure what else is there.
But is it actually about kids, or is it about how they couldn't get through the game?
Well, I think
this is a very experienced side.
I still think they're in winning mode because they wouldn't get Robbie Tarrant if they weren't in winning mode.
Well, the thing about it is they couldn't finish the game.
No, but that's what I'm getting at, because they don't have the numbers
they should have
and the midfield depth.
They were 20 points up at three-quarter time.
But it's complete domination through the midfield in the last quarter.
Yeah, I understand.
So I just don't know how they're going to reload that.
So how are they going to fix it? They're on the slide, and we know that.
Final term from the Blues, kicking 7 goals to 1. Let's head down into the Carlton rooms and join Mitch Cleary.
It's a very buoyant Carlton rooms. Michael Voss standing off for the side. His first win as Carlton coach. I'm going to see if the Blues boys are going to try and drag him into the song. No, they've left him alone, Michael Voss. So here they are to sing the song for the first time in season 2022. You've got Adam Cerra, George Stewart, Corey Durden in the middle of the song. lad. Michael Voss was singing very loudly off to the side of the rooms. He enjoyed that one, his first win as Carlton coach.
It's been 9 years, Sellers, between coaching gigs, senior coaching gigs for Michael Voss. That's a long time. Obviously, he's been a well-regarded assistant coach, been a part of relatively successful programs, but 9 years since his last head coaching gigs. A long time.
Well, he took over Brisbane when Lee Matthews left. Now, Lee Matthews is not a dill. He finished, they won 3 premierships, and all of a sudden they started to fall, so Lee goes. So Michael Voss takes over, and it's on the fall. And he got hurt from that. But he's 8 years down at over at Port Adelaide have obviously helped him. He's actually he's a pretty strong individual, and I don't think I've ever seen a more competitive player in any team, to tell you the truth. You would think that, wouldn't you? Remember about how competitive he was as a player. A superstar.
Absolute superstar.
But in the right manner too, just quietly. Yeah. So to me, it was a good choice. And they follow him. And they like him. And that's a big plus. And he now knows that he can get a team to do what he wants. The art of being a coach is having your team do what you ask them to do. And you can't get them to do ridiculous things, but you've got to get them to be in the mode and actually be part of this club and understand that what it means to you to be part of this club. It's a pleasure to play for and an enjoyment to play. And I think he's doing that well.
It is an interesting point, though, because they did have a decision to make as to whether they're looking at the type of coach like a Ross Lyon or someone like Michael Voss who had more experience around a current team like Port Adelaide. And the style in which they play tonight, it just feels like it's going to stack up, and we get to see it again next week on Thursday night against the Western Bulldogs. So I can't wait to see the Blues in round 2. Let's head back to the Carlton rooms and join Mitch Cleary after the Blues' 25-point victory.
Thanks, Clinchy. I'm here with one of their prime movers in the midfield, Matt Kennedy. Matt, how does it feel to belt out that song in round 1?
Yeah, it's awesome. They've had our number for the last few years, so to get one back is awesome, but it's a real credit to the boys. It's a gutsy win to come back and beat the Tigers. Quality team, so I think it shows a lot about the character of the group and the hard work we've put in with Vossi and the new coaches in the pre-season.
It's not often you come to the MCG and hear the Richmond fans crowded out, I guess, by the Blues fans. What was that feeling like in the last quarter when you got the momentum on your terms?
Well, to just have crowds back was awesome. Mate, it was electrifying, it really was. And to have crowds back to the footy, they make the game, they really do. And, mate, that's the loudest I've heard any crowd for a long time. So to get it done for the supporters, it's been a tough few years. So to have them here today and share this special night, I guess, with them was awesome.
What sort of belief will this give your playing group now? You can sense the atmosphere in this room right now. What does this do for Carlton the rest of 2022?
I think it's just a starting block, really. I think, we've got a massive mountain to climb still, and I think we're building belief from day one of pre-season, really. We spoke a lot about building connection and trust between players and coaches, and we've done that, and now it's to the fun point of the year, I guess, where we can start translating that on field. And yeah, tonight was a good confidence boost, but it's a long year and plenty of games ahead of us, so we'll learn and grow and adapt as the year goes on, but it's a pretty good start, can't complain.
Three upstairs to Matt Clinch, Brett Sprigg, Adam Romanascus and Mark McClure.
Matt, firstly, congratulations on your game tonight personally. We've seen you play a lot as a forward in previous years, and even when you're at GWS. Tonight, you look fit. You look like you can play in the midfield for the entire game. What have you done differently in your preparation over the summer to allow yourself to do that?
I think it's been, I suppose, probably 3 consistent years with no injury or off-season surgery, so constantly building that tank, like you mentioned, and losing a few kilos, but I suppose in the past I didn't perform or get my job done in there, so it probably resulted in sort of trying to change things around and went forward a bit. But Vossi coming in, he's given me a lot of confidence to play to my strengths, and he's really backed me in. So to get, the all clear from him, or I suppose give me confidence that that's my preferred position was really helpful. And just working really closely with Timmy Clark, Lukey Power and the midfield group we've got in there. It's a super bunch of boys, and I'm just enjoying my time, really.
The easy question is to say, what has Michael Voss brought to Carlton? But I think that's evident to see. You look fitter, you look stronger as a playing group. But What about within the playing group themselves? Obviously, Paddy Cripps is the captain, but are there others now that are really sort of saying, come on, boys, it's time for us really to shine and take this club forward?
Yeah, well, I suppose Sam Walsh is the obvious one to point out. When he first got drafted to the club, he set the standards and he really was quite elite. But I think from our leadership group, before the off-season break, Cripper and Doc, I suppose, really took over and realised where we wanted to get to. We had to put our heads down, bum up, and really work hard in the off-season. So I think the leadership from those two blokes, Sweeters and Walshy, has been incredible. And I think from that, we're just getting more blokes buying in.
Matt, we know you've got to go. Just a word on Sam Doherty, the moment with the goal.
It was pretty special. I think everyone realised how much hardship he's gone through and how much adversity he's overcome. So for him to kick that goal, well, to be honest, mate, it was a special moment for me. So I don't know what he's thinking, but it was truly awesome. And to see the boys get around him, it was awesome and a special moment for everyone, I think.
Good on you, Matt. We'll let you get to the team meeting. Thanks for joining us on ABC Radio around the country.
Thanks, boys.
Matt Kennedy joining us from the Carlton Rooms, winners in round one for the first time since 2012, defeating Richmond by 25 points. And he's the type of player who has a bit to prove, plays with a bit of an edge. He was at the Giants. There was the comparisons made between he and Jacob Hopper as to whether there was room in a team for both of them, and he wasn't, the first choice selection in the Carlton midfield. So you mentioned throughout the call the rock-hard fitness, and he is a bigger midfielder, which will complement the likes of Paddy Cripps and George Hewitt, Adam Chera.
He certainly is, and when you have a look through, you've got O'Brien, who's a midfielder in a sense, a winger. Then you've got Kennedy, you've got Fogarty, who can do that as well. You've got a whole host of Cripps, and then you've got people like Sard, who probably could play in the midfield, but he plays half back and runs like a midfielder and does all those things. Once you have 6 or 7 of them in there and they're competing against each other for a spot, let me tell you, it's dangerous. It's dangerous to be in their way, because that's the game. If you can't get those guys keen and fit and hard and strong to actually battle out, because that is just contest after contest after contest, that's what you need, and that's where Vossi comes in. So that's what he did.
So where the difference was tonight through their midfield is that rather than Cripps going to hunt the ball around the entire ground, he hunts it through the middle, then he's pushing forward. He's playing forward to centre. So you let Hewitt hunt the ball around the ground. You let Chera hunt the ball around the ground. You let them use their running ability. That's probably been the weakness of Paddy Cripps. He's expended so much energy from going
back and forth.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So those other younger guys now are able to do that. That allows Paddy Cripps to be and have the maximum impact when he is through the middle of the ground.
Well, he kicked goals. He did everything tonight, and he led the way. And the midfield clearances were solid and strong and solid. Very solid. Incredible in what you do. So look, that was a display that most people would walk away and go, I didn't think that had happened. And I bet you did think that too, Clinch. I saw you in the car, and you weren't very happy because you thought you were going to get beat, didn't you?
Well, there's always been questions around Carlton's depth,
actually,
whether
I thought
it's genuine.
So too, but still, anyway. But that was a display that we wanted to see.
Yeah, and I feel like as much has been answered about Carlton and the direction in which they're heading, and the same questions linger around Richmond about where they'll finish up. Next week's going to provide some great comparison, because the Blues take on the Western Bulldogs, the Tigers have got GWS, so the Giants have got a few injuries themselves, so that's going to be another good test to sort of gauge where the Tigers are. But normally when Richmond are able to get that response early in the final term, they don't fold in the manner in which they did tonight. So whether that's some of the injuries, the likes of Dion Prestia, the lack of midfield depth, or just whether they're going to have to build into their season. But there was a lot of positive stuff about Carlton tonight, and they're going to have a few other players who are going to be fighting for positions as well.
Well, that's what you want. You need that. You have to have that. And you want some kids to come in and push them and shove them. But, the last quarter statistics, if you have a look at them, is just damning. Yeah. Totally damning on the opposition.
At one stage, 13-1 tackles inside 50, Carlton's way. So you talk about that, I guess, attacking pressure and defensive pressure inside forward 50. Coming into this season, we sort of thought, well, okay, where are these goals going to come from? No Eddie Betts. Obviously, Charlie Curno's back, which is something for them. But it's more, I suppose, the manner in which they create opportunities themselves. How important is that pressure inside forward 50?
I think it's the most important thing you can do. You want to make it difficult for opposition to get out of there. And if you can do that often, you know what? You're going to turn it over all the time, and that's the key. If you're racing and chasing them down and putting a hand on and pushing and shoving, I haven't seen that for a long, long time.
Well, the interesting part, Sal, is what you talk about there is building the depth. So tonight, who didn't play for Carlton, whether it's through injury or non-selection, Lockie Fogarty, Liam Stocker, Brodie Kemp, Sam Walsh will come back in, Lockie Plowman, Luke Parks, we saw at times last year, David Cunningham, Tom Williamson was the sub, Jack Nunes, Lewis Young could go and play as a defender. Ed Curnow can come in and play a role.
He may have to if Woodring goes out.
Josh Honey is still there, he's a good young player. And Matt Cottrell is a good young player. So they are building that depth on their list. It's just, again, finding those right combinations. Yeah. Tonight it looked good.
And having the right frame of mind.
Training needs to be...
Right frame of mind to work hard, feel good about yourself, play hard, and do what you do. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you know what? And you enjoy it then. You know that, Rama. Yeah. You love it. You just want to go every week.
And this is the challenge now. You mentioned the Western Bulldogs next week. Teams can get excited when they haven't won in round one for a long time. They can get overexcited. Supporters can get overexcited. Then you have this big letdown for the next couple of weeks. So I'm sure Michael Voss is saying, hey, boys, it's one game.
I agree.
It's one game of football. Yep, we beat Richmond. It's one game. Yep, let the supporters cheer and be happy. But, hey, Monday or whenever they're back at training, it's back to work.
What type of killjoy are you?
I'm just saying it's one game, fellas. It's one game.
Consider this. Not only had they not won in round one for 10 years, they were 0-2 every year for the last 10 years, Carlton. This is a different experience for them, having a win first up.
Yeah. It is.
But if you don't have expectation...
They got it. Yeah.
This is one game of football. They've won. They've played well. They need to now continue with the momentum.
We need to get some votes for the ABC Footballer of the Year. Who's got the responsibility tonight?
There's only one person that has the responsibility.
Righto.
Yeah, someone's got to take it on their shoulders. Anyway, I gave one vote to Sam Doherty. I just thought Sam Doherty's game was special. Come back after a horrible experiences he's had. And that goal, it actually hardly made me cry almost, in a sense, because he's such a special bloke and a really good person, and he's a fantastic leader and all those sorts of things. So for me, he was just terrific. 26 possessions. He set the pattern for him early in the game and continued on. Paddy Cripps, we had 30. You know what? He's lost a bit of weight. He looks really good. I think he's playing in the right manner. I think he's still powerful. He's still kicking goals. He's still moving forward. I like the move of going from the centre to sort of hanging around just outside the square at half forward, because, you know what, it's pretty difficult for their midfielders to stay with him in the air and powerful around the ground. And Matt Kennedy, that's the best game I've seen him play. Yeah. 14 contested possessions, 33 possessions, goals. He had a goal. He was from start to finish. He went from full ball, and I haven't seen that before from Matt Kennedy. But I tell you what, he set a standard, and I hope he keeps it that way.
So 3 to Kennedy, 2 to Cripps, 1 to Sam Doherty from Mark McClure in the ABC Footballer of the Year. I think at one stage we were saying...
Did you think of anything else? You reckon I should have put a Tiger in there?
Adam Kerr is stiff.
No, he was stiff, but you know what?
I would have had them the other way around. I would have had Cripps the 3 and Kennedy the 2, but I can understand why you went with Kennedy.
That's why I do the votes.
Exactly.
Don't question my...
You can't win territory, aren't I? Yeah. The game in which Matthew Kennedy played was above par than where
great.
He has been. Yep, yeah. I completely agree with that. I think at one stage the Melbourne Storm led the South Sydney Rabbitohs 14-0.
Yep.
They've just hung on and won 15-14. At Amy Park. So the Rabbitohs came flying home and the Storm were just able to hang on.
They had golden point.
A golden point?
I think it was 14 all full time, then went to golden point.
Who's kicked the golden point, do we know?
I can't tell you that.
What about Bellamy? 500 games.
Incredible.
That is extraordinary.
Superstar.
Yep.
He is.
So tomorrow night at Docklands, Friday night footy, Collingwood taking on St Kilda. There's a lot on the Saints for round one, trying to stay in finals contention. Collingwood, of course, the new era under Craig McRae and the arrival of Nick Dacos. And looking forward to seeing you both on Saturday afternoon. We'll be together for Geelong and Essendon.
Oh, heck, can't wait for that.
Look at it. Well, look, I look at it like this. I'm looking at it like this. Sellers has had some luck with his team tonight. Maybe I might have some luck with my team on Saturday.
20 years of rubbish.
Do you get the impression a lot of Carlton fans are going to go to sleep with a smile on their face tonight? They're going to enjoy the weekend.
They should, absolutely.
It's been a long time since they were victorious victorious
Have a
in
look at those
round
photos.
one.
It's unbelievable.
Yep, the smiles and the hugs taking place.
I tell you what, the Doherty moment when he kicked that goal,
Yep.
that'll be shown forever. I tell you, that was just
That'll be
incredible.
an absolute lasting moment of this season.
I think it is one of the great
great.
human triumphs getting back. And Rama, you know that journey as to how much he's put in to get back to the elite level and how hard it can be. Thanks, everyone, for your company tonight. The Blues winners by 25 points over Richmond. 14-17, 101 to the Tigers 11-10, 76 in front of 72,179. I think that closes the debate that Richmond and Carlton, they'll open the season with the people power voting for them. Here's a little bit of how the Blues finally broke through in 2022. Hand pass to Broad, through the corridor he goes, looking for Soldo. The kick was wide of him, may still work out. Baker onto it, back to Soldo. The big man links it up to Bolton. Inside the 50, a burst of pace, and he finishes.
Kennedy marks on the outer logo, moves it away. Coming inboard now, O'Brien off to Cripps. He was a loose man. 55 from goal. Pretty close here. It's going to go over the head of Durden and bounce through for a goal. Good vision it was from Corey Durden. And the finish from Paddy Cripps from beyond 50. That's the goal Carlton needed. Newman squeezes the kick around here for Doherty. Devoid of options. Holds up for a moment. That's going to be 50. As we saw Edwards